Welcome back to Métropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It is the 9th of February would be my best guess, but of course, I don't have to be alone guessing here. I'm joined by Pat, all the way from across the town. How's it going, Pat?
Hey everybody, it's me, Patrick, the Metropole Grid's on location reporter. This time reporting from the apartment of a seems to be a depressed
Oh
man
boy.
with nerdy hobbies. Okay, sorry, go on.
Uh,
What were you saying?
hey,
Yeah,
well,
it's the ninth. Let me double check.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
the
great, great,
date.
great. How's
Oh
everyone
shoot, it's
going?
my friend's birthday. I forgot to wish her happy birthday.
Happy birthday. You want to do it now?
Yeah, happy birthday, Eliana. I know you're not watching because you hate this, but just glad you're another year older.
Happy birthday, Eliana. You did it. Well, Pat on the second Thursday of the month. Burden, how's it going? So we talked about this a bit last week, but we had Pat like 2 weeks ago, again, for better for worse. And then we didn't want to do two
Yeah.
Pats in a row because we know what it does to the ratings. And you know how it is. The more you're gone, the more you're missed. It's like,
Yeah, I'm like an inverse sweeps week.
mhm.
And you don't want to oversaturate the channel with Pat content
No,
for sure.
legally.
You kind of want to do like a Skinner box sort of situation where people don't know
How
exactly when
much?
I'll show up, and
Yeah.
they don't know what behavior they've done has earned the Pat to show up.
Yeah, that's true. We're always pulling those levers, I reckon. Yo, Sophie, how's it going? Happy Thursday. Let me catch up on chat because chat's been going on for a while.
Yeah.
Chat goes on in a while, and like I see it, but then I feel awkward to respond to it because I'm still behind the the curtain. It'd be like before the theater show, they come up on stage and like small talk, which actually I think some troops do, but for me, it's all about the artifice. So, hey Jessica, how's it
Yeah,
going?
we should totally do a waiting for Godot version of the Metropole Grid where the splash screen comes on. You just have 3-hour playlist of music, and
Yeah.
we just let people form a community and just like get to know each other and enjoy each other's company.
So I've honestly been considering this. For those who know, they know. For those who don't, you should search it at some point. But at some point, I just want the stream to turn on, and I'm just going to broadcast Télé Français for like the whole 3 hours or whatever, because I think more people need to see Télé Français, and I feel like the Télé Français, whoever owns it, is probably not very litigious. So I think we can get away with that as
Yeah,
original
okay,
content.
yeah. They're probably not very litigious. Is solid legal strategy. Yeah.
You make your bets and you take them. Dowjin, how's it going? Bounty Hunter Ahmad, how's it going? What is it close to? Yeah, that is it. I'll do the name. Zakrycie administratywno-terytorialne obrazowanie. Obrazowanie in like Slovenian means education, or something close to that. I don't think that's exactly what it means in Russian as well, but they're usually pretty close. Ixran, how's it going, Frank? How you doing? How y'all doing? Daniel, welcome. Baz, I think I said hi. If not, 2 Pats in a row would just be too good. I get it. Andre can't have you usurping him. At one point, it's only going to be Pat. Like, that's the problem. If we do 2 in a row and then we do the Fibonacci sequence and we lose the stream. How's your week been, man?
That's it. I've had a great week. I've been relaxing, jobless, and just kind of enjoying it. Been working on my own stuff, going for long walks in the middle of the day. Yeah, it's also Poutine week, and I haven't really.
Whoa,
There are a
really?
few poutines I'm targeting, but I haven't actually managed to get out there and go try them.
I did not
There's like
realize
a
it
seafood
was.
poutine at some point, someplace in Verdun.
I didn't realize it's Poutine week. Nobody emailed me.
Oh my god!
I know. No, but honestly,
I'm so
it's like, so when you hear Poutine week as viewer from international country, insert here, you probably think Canada is a quaint and weird place, and it's only like 50% correct. Like, it's not, there's no parades or anything. It's just kind of culturally restaurants. Like, a lot of restaurants and bars will go out of their way to make a poutine, and then there is like poutine awards. So it's not nonsense, but poutine is good. So like, I wouldn't be upset about it. Isn't it
yeah,
poutine
and
week
like
in Canada? Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the idea.
yeah, technically.
Oh,
In fact,
go ahead.
I like like in a sci-fi movie, you might just say, "Oh, well, we're going to the space restaurant, and I'll go with my space car." When you're in Canada, you say, "Oh, beginning of another poutine week. I'll get my poutine car and go to my poutine job."
As I was about to say, did you end up going to Planta in Toronto? Because I didn't go at Worlds, but I went after for Christmas, and it was very good. I reckon you might have gone and enjoyed it. I hope. Oh,
That
c'est
Frank is
vrai.
recommending
Je suis un
Nouveau
ananas.
System.
Sorry, Orbital, how's it going? Andre, gonna be honest, the fact that you stream on the same night as new Poker Face episodes is brutal. I don't think I know what Poker Face is, but it's probably a
Technically,
show.
Poker Face. I think I talked about Poker Face
Yeah.
last time I was here. Actually, technically, you can watch Poker Face as of like 3 a.m. in the morning. So I don't feel like it's on you to fix this. I have not seen the latest Poker Face though.
Frank says you gotta try the Nouveau Systems, but then that's on Beaubien-Cholet. That's not too far away without doxing myself. I might actually try that out. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's actually very close to my friend Bondre's house.
In Pasadena, California, how's it going, Ryan? They claim they invented the cheeseburger, so we also have Cheeseburger Week here. It's pretty similar. There's probably so many places in America that have claimed that they made the cheeseburger, and I'm all for it. I want it. You can take a tour of the home of the cheeseburger, which is probably an okay time. Yo, Cody, how's it going? Confession time. So I've been working on some video content. I'll have a video for some startup runner stuff coming up on the weekend, and boy was I excited because I played a really good game against Cody like 2 days ago, and it was a slapper of a game. It was interesting. We played through our outs. We taught really good fundamentals, and the fundamental I did miss was to hit the record button. So I swore so loud that afternoon. And then you have to get back on your horse, and that's kind of what you learn. But yeah, it was a bummer, man. Cody, it was a really good game. Is that how it's actually pronounced? Poutine? Yes. Well, yeah, closer to that than poutine, yeah, but French people will do it a bit better. We tried, but we needed to had made reservations like we did advance because of the holiday that weekend. Oh shit. Okay. Well, next time you're in, it's worth doing. Hey, Fenders, how's it going? Finally catching the stream now that my semester's wrapping up. Hopefully you're having a good semester. Hopefully it's wrapping up okay. Welcome to the stream. There's a bunch of places around America and Europe that claim the ham/cheeseburger. I think it's entire states. I think the entire Midwest needed something, so they went for the cheeseburger.
Minnesota made the Juicy Lucy. None y'all's get to claim that one. So I'm going to look up Juicy Lucy, and I'm going to turn Safe Search off. Oh, no! It's a sandwich. Okay, I need to describe this.
Yeah.
It's a stuffed cheeseburger with the cheese inside of the meat instead of on top.
Oh, that's actually...
What an abomination.
Okay, so there's a thing.
It's like a Scotch egg, but instead of an egg, there's cheese.
So there's Ljubljanica is the river, but there's a classic Slovenian or Ljubljana, which is capital Slovenian dish that they make, which is basically a schnitzel. I think it's a chicken schnitzel. So if you don't know what a schnitzel is, it's like hammered flat meat and then just breaded and fried a bit, but then there's cheese in it, which like everything's literally a poutine. Everywhere you go, they find a different way to make a poutine. And the Ljubljanica, like I don't eat meat anymore, but it was very good. I think it's called that, Ljubljanica Rezek or something like that.
No, a stuffed cheeseburger with the cheese inside the meat instead of on top, resulting in a melted core of cheese. 2 bars in Minneapolis claim to be the inventors of the burger, while other bars and restaurants have created their own interpretations. So there is like a battle going on between 2 of them.
Yeah. Fender says, okay, enough one can say 10K into thesis writing and suffering. Oh, yo, I don't understand your plight. I'm a bit sympathetic with your plight. Hopefully it's going okay. I swear, and this is going to be a very bad thing for my channel, but I've half joked to my sister, who she finished her thesis like a couple months ago, that I'm just going to do a stream where I'm going to sit down and read her thesis live on air because I think it's probably the only way I'd actually read the thing. And I know she spent a lot of time on it, so I probably want to read it. And maybe someone will get something out of it. It's about closed captioning on Netflix, or in general, best practices for closed captioning. And like, I like it and it's fun. But again, niche audiences, she'll probably be embarrassed and wouldn't.
Well, you know, it would also be a great way for her to get it into an audio format, which is frankly a lot more digestible for some people.
Yeah, but then there's going to be like me making zinger comments throughout it, so I don't think it's...
You're gonna do a riff track on your sister's thesis?
I'm not gonna sit and read a thesis. It's gonna take like 4 hours. Of course you have to like joke about
okay,
it.
So first video is you sitting and reading the thesis for 4 hours. The second video is you and me in the foreground are just our silhouettes going like, look at this guy. He can't even read the thesis right.
Kat says, could you be able to make a video from a JNet replay? Kat, I think you're totally right that I probably should be recording the replays. I have never saved the replays when I'm playing, and it's something I definitely should be doing. Hey Sanjay, I like pronouncing poutine more closer to the American poutine when the poutine is less authentic. I do think that's a good way to differentiate the two because it's super, super important. You can /save replay after the fact. Yeah, that's true. I feel weird about that fact though. Like Pat, do you know this? That when you enter someone's game, at the end of the game, you can write /save replay and then you'll have the replay, even if they didn't consent to it at the lobby, which means you can see their deck list. I think that's so weird. It feels gross.
A bit interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. It's the greater. Can we eliminate the trend in closed captioning when it says speaks language instead of subtitling languages other than the one that works primarily in? My friend streamed Puss in Boots and the sub murdered me with speaking Spanish the entire time. Firstly, Puss in Boots is really good. But
I've heard it's the same animation studio as Into the Spider-Verse.
I don't.
And looking at the trailer, it seems like it.
I don't know if it is because it's what's it called? It's The Boy on the Moon, but it seems heavily inspired. It's DreamWorks, but it's heavily inspired by the style you get from there. They can't.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
Can you do that after they leave too? I don't know, Cody, but probably. But real talk, Desigurator, I know my sister spent a lot of time talking about this. There was like some real kerfuffles about different ways that different languages get translated. Whether it's like something that's an English offshoot, so something that like English speakers could understand a lot of or slightly. So it's things like people that were speaking like patois was like, I think there was a thing kind of, there was a big discussion about this on Netflix maybe 5-6 years ago, where like trying to subtitle patois in a certain way. Like, do you write it like Brian Jakes writing like fucking, you know how he does it? Do you remember Redwall books where when he would like write people that spoke in accents, he would write the words phonetically like they were speaking? Or do you just do it like with an accent? Or do you just do like, there's so many ways to do that.
Yeah, like the Scottish playwright Burns would do it in a.
Yeah.
I'll get that's for another stream. I'll get it later.
Frisbee, how's it going? Please don't write like Brian Jakes. Yeah, I know Brian Jakes is the worst way to do it. But as somebody like a young adult or a kid reading Brian Jakes books, Redwall was cool. Probably a bit racist. Okay, so this weekend we did some draft. We got some cool stuff to talk about draft real quick. Shout outs to Nick who organized a draft event, and we went and played. It was a cube draft from like 2015, which was really fun. So pack 10, pick one. And we just passed packs around, and we ended up playing 6 games, which is really fun. It was really quite nice. The badges were the best. You know they were. You had a good time, Pat?
Yeah, I had a great time. I don't know. Do you want to talk about our experience of it now, or are we going to save that for people like, sticking around to the news?
It was really cool.
So, we had a great time. I think we did the standard way. Like each of us had like 10, we passed around 5, 10 card packs for each side, and then we built a 30 to 34 card deck.
Yes.
First, I had a lot of fun. I feel like I got the deck. Like I got a Scorched Earth, and partly I got the first Scorched Earth as much because I wanted it, as much as I didn't want other people to have it, and just to know that no one else had it. And then I saw another Scorched Earth, and then I saw a Sea Source, and then I saw like the breaking news. Things just kind of the draft wanted me to have these cards.
Yeah, and so
I did build an effective Scorched Earth deck.
It is something that I was thinking about after the fact, and like I think it's a very easy learning about the draft format is that we were only 4 players, and admittedly I knew a bit about most of the players at the table to understand how they would draft and what they prioritize. But the big thing is like the draft pools that we saw. You saw cards like this, like Scorched Earth was in the pool. I think Pat ended up with 2 of them. There were cards that give tags, so like Sea Source is kind of like Public Trail is now, but stronger even. And like they were gone. Like when the pack came back, I wasn't paying enough attention to know Sea Source was gone. So I should have understood that somebody had probably not one of these, but all of them, because it's super unlikely at a table of 4 people. Like I'm pretty sure somebody on my right wasn't playing this sort of thing. So I think that's something that's actually really important to understand, is that I probably should have known, Pat, that you or maybe the guy next to you had the kill deck. And I don't think I respected enough to you. I found it actually like on turn 1 that you did it, but I didn't realize how consistent it would be, because I didn't realize that you could get all the pieces because they were entirely uncontested, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Especially because like in drafting, it's interesting. If you see one part of a combo, it doesn't feel worth it to go for it because that feels like a wasted pull if you don't get the rest of the combo. And if you're going for like an early card in a pack, then you're like, oh, I'd rather have the money. I'd rather have the hedge fund, something reliable, something like that is going to be good no matter the deck. And so people might leave a Scorched Earth. Well, maybe not a Scorched Earth. They might leave like a piece of the combo for the 3rd or 4th go around. I'm like, well, someone has to get it.
Yeah. So there's like cards that I don't think you have to pick quick because no one's gonna get them. But yeah, that was good. Pat, you had a really nice corp deck on that. I just drafted like best kind of mid-range stuff with alternate win condition and good defensive upgrades, the best ice, I think. I got 3 sweeps week. People keep passing me sweeps weeks and packs even later down the line. Doesn't make any sense to me. So I got a lot of money, and it went really well. I only dropped 1 game, Pat, which was to you, and you scorched me on turn 3 after I really thought you didn't have Sea Source.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. You indexed me like turn 1.
Yeah.
You saw the top 5 cards included closed accounts and Scorched Earth.
And I can't put them at the top. I'm like, these are useless.
Yeah, and yet I had like not only so I think on like turn 2, because you like left a tag on because of you like ran a TGTBT.
Yeah, turn 1.
And also had passed through a tagging ice, so you couldn't get rid of both. So I'm like, yeah, I'll value Scorch. And then I drew the other Scorch later, and I'm like, oh, I guess I will take advantage of the fact that he did not draw up because he assumed I only had 1 Scorch.
Yeah, I knew every single game from that, every single card he had drawn that entire game from R&D, and I did not know he had a Sea Source in hand, which again is the hindsight of like, I probably shouldn't have should have expected that considering nobody else was playing tags, I reckon. So why I bring this up, we're not gonna spend too much longer there. Hey Piotr, we're gonna get to the deck list in a week in less than like a minute. But there was this other thing called 1v1 grid draft, which Nick tried to do, but I don't think we realized immediately that's only for a 2-player draft. And the idea is that you're with your draft pool, you can lay out 9 cards like this in order. And you play draft with just 2 people, so it's relatively quick. This drafting process is relatively quick. And you have a A player and a B player. The A player goes first on round 1, then the B player goes first on round 2, and then back and forth. And basically one person picks either a row or a column, and those cards are added to their card pool that they have to deck build out of. Then your opponent gets to pick a row or column, but of course, that'll be different. There's actually, if I pick like column left, I take Grim, Gila, and Enigma, then the opponent, say Pat, could pick only a row of 3, or sorry, a column of 3 or rows of 2. So it becomes very interesting because your choices, you obviously want to make good choices in general, let alone for your deck, but also you want to leave your opponent ideally with awkward choices. It's a really cool system. I haven't played it myself. Pat, what's your first pick here?
My first pick?
Yeah.
Where's my pick? Oh, sorry. I didn't see that you were actually showing. I forgot that I can actually look at your screen now. My bad. Ooh, what's my first pick? Okay, so green level is pretty useful, but also you've got some like classic. I might go with middle row.
Middle row like this.
Yeah, I feel like that's beginning to set something up. Like that's simple econ. Yes, I'd like to have the ice wall and the Enigma too.
Jeff says bottom
What do
row.
you think?
I can't believe we all have different things. A lot of folks in chat are saying it as something else. I would say that I like middle column the most. I think Tsurugi, while it's weak to Parasite, which is in the format usually, green level and ice wall are very good. The bottom row is actually really good. Enigma, ice wall, and Hadrian's you can actually end up playing if your economy is good, because big ice are actually kind of a struggle to deal with in the format. So I would go this first, probably, maybe the bottom row first, but green level clearance is just good enough. Enigma and Ice Wall are definitely good. That's for sure. I think this row column is actually not the worst. The bad poem Grim can be bad, but Program Destruction is like, it's not the strongest in the format. It's actually still really good. And a 5-strength sentry is kind of huge, right? Yeah.
I want someone asked, I think it was Sadstuck who asked a question. I actually did hate draft every Blast Creed I saw. I had 2 Blast Creeds in my my sideboard that I didn't even put in a runner deck because I knew I was not threatened by meat damage at all.
If you hate drafted those, I wouldn't have drafted one, and even if I did, I wouldn't have played it. Because I think there's only one deck that has it, and there's other ways to beat it. But it's interesting. It's cool that you have that ability. Yeah. The reason why I bring this cube up, which is actually quite interesting, is sort of grid drafting thing. Is right now in chat, there's Bounty Hunter Sax. Bounty Hunter Sax, you might know, they've been like in the Netrunner community for a while. They've been doing currently like the card of the week posts on r/Netrunner. They've also been streaming, and he's put together a website that allows you to do a 1v1 grid draft with whoever you kind of invite to it. So you and a friend can sit down and do a 1v1 grid draft using obviously online cards, and then take the cards you've drafted, paste them into Netrunner DB, do your deck building, and then play online, which is a really sick way to do draft if you want to do a one-on-one thing. So that's something that's going to be up and ideally shared with the community relatively soon. In fact, so soon that it looks like this Saturday at, I think it's around 3 p.m. Sax is going to give it a shot. This is Ahmed, their channel. It's also twitch.tv, the same thing here. I'll have a link. It's going to be trying to do a stream, or what's it called? A 1v1 grid draft versus Bahram Wu, which I wasn't actually entirely aware that Bahram Wu is also streaming and making content. So all these links are going to be in the description bars below if you want to go subscribe, follow to all these nice folks. And they'll be doing a draft this Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. I think that's around 8, maybe 8 o'clock UTC, but I would double check that. And then if all that goes well, next Thursday, there's a chance we're going to be doing a draft here at the same time. Ahmed and I will do a 1v1 grid draft live. Now, I'm going to say chance here because, again, I don't think we have it confirmed just yet. Maybe I put the cart in front of the horse. But if all things work well, I'm going to be streaming this time no matter what next week. But maybe not. Oh, I can confirm. Okay, Ahmed said he can confirm, which is sick. So that'll be next week. I'm very excited to do 1v1 grid draft. I've never done 1v1 grid draft before, and it's a really interesting puzzle because you also, if you have a good memory, you can know what your opponent's drafting, but the client actually shows you what they draft to. So you can look at the draft pool and be like, oh, Pat has all the scorched earth. I need to keep that in mind when I'm drafting runner or what have you. So do check that in.
Yeah, it's interesting. The fact that this would be an open draft does change things a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess like it's 2 players, so of course it kind of has to be.
Yes.
In a sense.
Yeah. And
I like just drafting as a mechanic in general. Like I love drafting Netrunner, but I love like other board games that include drafting as mechanics. Like I'm always going to be into that.
Sanjay's asking what card pool. I'm not actually sure. The implementation I've seen that Ahmed's put, you can actually fill in any draft cube you want. So you can put this in. By the way, this is the StimHack cube, the most recent one. It has Parhelian's cards in. A link for this will be in the description as well. This also has IDs in it, which is really cool. But it's up to you to basically pull any Netrunner DB list, and then you insert it into the drafting thing, so you can do whatever you want. So I don't know what's going to happen Saturday. I don't know what's going to happen Thursday, but it will be a pool of our choice. If you want to know more about StimHack cube drafting and having the cube that people enjoy drafting, there's some really nice links here. You can click through. It says check the Google Doc here, and it shows you like how to do a StimHack cube, the cards that enter and exit, and why. It's actually a really interesting documentation. And at the end too, the basic rules. And in this version, they're actually playing to 7 points and building full 40 card decks, which actually I think I might like a bit better than this 30 cards, 6 things, 6 points, which is we played on the weekend. All right, that's it. Deck list of the week time. Let's go. This deck list is actually quite interesting. Final Cradle's time to shine. I'm going to talk about that because I think I uncradled this deck. This deck is really cool. So this is a startup deck posted by Dane. And this deck is playing a bunch of cards that I was very not sold on. The main one here is Matryoshka, which, if you're unfamiliar, is the nesting dolls of on its own. This program does nothing. But as soon as you get a second, third, and up to a 6th copy, you can put 6 copies in your deck. For a click, you have to host other copies of Matryoshka on this. Very importantly, you don't pay the cost. Very importantly, also, it doesn't take up MU. You can have a giant stack of nesting dolls, and you can use these as AIs to break any programs. And AIs...
Yeah, it just gets more and more tempting a target for any program destruction as it grows.
We'll get to that, because a startup deck that's weak to program destruction is kind of a bad spot to be in, if you ask me. Program destruction is like really hot.
I wasn't going to ask you, but go on.
It's really hot right now. It really stinks on my Nova list. I was going to do. Program destruction is actually like a really legitimate, strong win condition in startup, because one of the big changes when startup is, unlike standard, where you have things like Simulchip, you have the bin breakers and Anarch, you have almost no recursion that is commonly played in startup. So if you lose a program, and let alone obviously losing Matryoshka is a nightmare, because you don't lose one Matryoshka, you lose the Matryoshka and all the hosted Matryoshkas all at the same time.
Yeah, you can't Katurga breakout the entire Matryoshka.
Yes. So I think the recursion pieces you have in startup are Katurga breakout, which nobody plays. You have test run, which nobody plays, and then you have retrieval run, which nobody plays. But I think there's reasons why you could consider at least the latter one, maybe Katurga as well. We'll see. Well, to see that card in startup, I expect Reg Shooter to dominate the format. Sengren, I think you're right. But another spoiler, I'm recording gameplay for this too, and we'll have a deck dive on a list very, very similar, inspired by this. Not this weekend, but sometime next week, because I made some changes to it, and I do think it's actually really, really, really cool. Haven't seen any in personally. Oh man, X-Run, there's so much of it. Yo, Rohit. I think I need to shout out Rohit. We'll get to it in a second too. I played this on my meetup tonight and just couldn't break enough ice. Okay, we'll see if we run into that same thing as that. This is an aggro deck. And Diogen recently, we've been having conversations in our local Slack talking about how to make aggro decks. And one of the things that I'm very positive about aggro decks, kind of describing what aggro decks are in Netrunner. And the way that I know Diogen was talking about it a bit is like, these are decks that can access as many cards as you could want to as soon as possible, right? Like the most amount of aggressive accesses as soon as you can. And I think there's a lot of ways in Netrunner to do that, right? Like you can just play Boomerang, play Finality turn 1 if you really wanted to, and you could see like a lot of accesses really quickly. But the big thing is, and I don't think Diogen is saying that's what you should be doing as a deck, but my point about aggro decks is my favorite aggro decks are decks in which your aggression actually forwards your game plan. Because generally, if you go for immense aggression, immense amount of accesses on turn 1 to turn 3, that comes at a strong cost. And that cost is you setting up and you pushing yourself forward. But the really cool thing about this deck is that the way it's structured, everything we do, every run we make, every access we get actually generates and pushes us forward, which is so refreshing. Yeah. It's how the criminal decks back in the day used to play, things like Desperado or Leech, which used to be Data Sucker, John Masanori. All these sort of cards said things like, hey, you can run R&D cheaply, draw a card, gain a credit, charge your Leech with viruses, and those are really cool. And so actually like running was one of the best value propositions you could make, and not a trade-off of just, do you want to set up or see cards? And this deck does that in a way that's so satisfying. So let's talk about it. We have Zaya.
I see a lot of successful run triggers here.
It's all successful run triggers, and there comes the cost to that. But the idea here is we have Zaya, and so anytime that we see more than one card, even one card is good enough, we can get that many credits. And this deck has a lot of ways to go make runs and see for up to 9 cards. I think you can see in the biggest run, which is sick. That's really cool. You get 9 credits. That's awesome. It basically refunds you the cost you spent to get in, which is kind of important because Matryoshka on its own, it's not ass. It's not that bad. Like, I thought Matryoshka would be terrible at breaking ice until you play startup and realize like installing your Cat's Cradle to break a Hordem is bad anyways. So barring like Cleaver and Buzzsaw and then like late game Unity and stuff like that, like Matryoshka actually breaks a lot of ice very fairly. It's 2 strength, breaks 1 for 1 subroutine, 1 for 1 strength. Again, you can only break ice equal to the amount of Matryoshkas you have hosted. So you need at least 2 Matryoshkas to get a 1 piece of ice. But one of the best things of Matryoshka is it doesn't require you to fiddle around to be like, hey, I need to find my Fractor to go deal with a barrier. No, you just say, I have 2 Matryoshkas, let's go. And so if your ability like Xayah is so tied to getting successful accesses and seeing a lot of cards, with 2 Matryoshkas, you can like jailbreak turn 1 if you have a modicum of credits and it still pushes you forward. And that's awesome. Yeah. That's like one of the big strengths of a deck that just wants to get accesses as consistently as soon as possible. Matryoshka, I think, is a really legitimate target for it. So I'm into it.
Andre We May has a great point about Matryoshka in the chat. On its own, it doesn't do nothing. You can boost its strength, and it triggers AI hate cards.
That's very true.
That's a good point. You know, we forgot about that. It's true.
And there are AI hate cards in startup. There's one of them that's actually really called out in this list. Apparently, nobody's playing Swordsman, which I'm not entirely surprised about, but that will just like ruin your day. So that's a problem. But we do have one AI hate card, and that is Cat's Cradle, which is played specifically because Hordem is actually a pretty good card in startup right now. 4 strength code gates are hot because Buzzsaw is pretty popular. Unity is also not great at breaking this. You actually have to boost up a bit, and on its own it's like totally fine for what it does on its tin. Now if someone spends 3 clicks and 3 credits to advance this, you don't generally see this in Prov Devos. You just can't break it, which is a problem. If they have these on a central server or the remote server, you're just not getting in at all. And so this deck is running a single copy of Cat's Cradle to be able to deal with the possibility of a Hordem that forces them out of the game. Now, how necessary is that? I did play the deck. Did I run to triple advanced Hordems? You bet I did. It is pretty common in Wayland decks, but I'm going to argue, and we'll see it after, there's other ways to deal with the Hordem that I think are actually way better for the deck than having to play a Cat's Cradle. It also makes all code gates expensive, so side benefits, but it's so niche. You have to spend a click and 2 credits to install that, and then maybe they lose 2 more credits. I don't think it's worth a slot if you don't need it. I wonder if the Hush could help with AI hate. Sophie, that's exactly it. Hush is the card that I've added 2 copies of in this list, and I think it does exactly what Cat's Cradle wants to do, but is so much better in startup format. Now, reminds me of the 1x Mimic and Faust Noise? Exactly, yes. Okay, so other weird things about this deck is I like the idea of this deck, but I would actually generally build this deck a bit different, and I'll show you what my take on it is. One of the big things here that I'm not sure is 100% wrong, but I think is like probably unoptimal, is that there's so many 3-ofs of unique cards in this deck, right? Zenith Chip, from my testing in startup, has been so important because card draw is kind of at a minimum in Criminal right now in startup, let alone quality card draw. They lost Class Act. There's not any other draw in the format. Blueberry Diesel, for what it's worth, is gone. So getting consistent card draw, specifically card draw off the successful runs we want to do anyways, are so important. And so I found decks that I was playing that have 1 Zenith Chip might be too few. So I was thinking, do I play 2 Zenith Chip just so I can get one in my opening hand more consistently? Probably. This deck is running 3. And I don't think you generally want 3. It's worth knowing that Xayah is a 40 card minimum deck.
40 card deck.
Yes. So I don't know if you have to do that. I think what I'd rather do is run probably 2 copies of Zenith Chip, maybe 1 copy of Zenith Chip, and then just put the other slots we're using on the Zenith Chip on just other card draw. Things like Earthrise Hotel are totally playable in this list. Baramu, mind you, also posted a version of how they would play this archetype that I think my version is actually quite close to. But that's the sort of ideas. I don't like a lot of these 3-ofs, and it's very easy to look at these and say like, oh, we'll just trash them to the extra damage we're going to take from like, you know, installing them. And that's true, but you can say that about any card. I don't think that actually makes these cards better. It just makes them less not bad, but I don't know. Same thing with Waken Plan, super important. Again, this gives you multi-access off of pressure and push your game plan forward, run R&D, see 4 cards, make 4 credits. It's great. Turtle's the ultimate aggro breaker. This deck would love Turtle, but of course, it's a startup deck, so you don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I wish this deck had more ways to break ice. Like the Matryoshkas, of course, are good once you have 2 of them. And then there's 1 Boculus and 1 Cat's Cradle for the other stuff. Kind of just want, like, I don't see inside jobs. I feel like I'd like to see an inside job because that can work with like the Waken Plant or the you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out loud here.
There's definitely a bunch of like very things that actually are kind of integral to a Criminal that are kind of missing from this list. I think there's 3 big staples that this list doesn't have, and I'd argue you can get away with not having some of them. But the idea to have that sort of extra pressure, right? Like, we're not good at early game contesting remote servers. Can we play inside jobs? Yeah, probably. Can we play Boomerang? No, it rotated. Can we play things like pinhole threading? We can consider it. I'd argue this deck doesn't necessarily need it. Could we play No Free Lunch? I'd argue you definitely want to be playing No Free Lunch just because
Yeah.
Retribution is very hot. And you can always, stay over 8 credits or do any of that sort of stuff. But it's actually a fair bit harder in startup to do that consistently, especially because Drago decks are real. And we also don't have pinhole threading. So we can't run the remote server every turn and deal with Drago potentially. And if they Retribution or Matryoshka, we lose the game. So I think those are also big trade-offs the deck has. Speaking of other trade-offs, we have 3 Info Bounty. I'm not even sure if I love this card in the deck. You can play Red Team for something a bit similar. It's also a unique card. We have 3 ofs, which we kind of want to avoid that. Do we want it on turn 1? Abstractly, yes, but I don't think it's that important. And that's all the card draw we have.
Rather do Red Team?
Yeah, I think so. If we're playing Career Fair.
Okay, interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because a lot of
that's a different deck, but
no, I don't think it is. Bottom Wu's version is really close to it, but like this deck actually does Red Team relatively well because Red Team requires you to click the Red Team itself, and a lot of our multi-axis is not run-based events. So we're actually pretty good at firing Waken Plant while red teaming R&D, or like the twinning red teaming HQ. Mind you, we're playing the twinning. If it wasn't clear, we're running 3x Chesva because it's really good. And if we can just make our breaking cheaper, we're actually making credits off of Xayah in the multi-axis. 2 Chesvas and 3 Matryoshkas means we're running R&D for almost free, barring any of the harder ice in the deck.
Yeah. And actually, Andre's point from earlier is well said, because maybe you do just want to pump a single Matryoshka for no reason just to get a counter on the twinning.
Yeah, you can always pump, which is a really cool interaction. Yeah, it's totally fair. It also has a single sec testing, which is a bit of a strange include. There are some game states where I think you do want to do the security testing and info bounty alone. I'm actually not sure how they interact, but we'll see. Is 6x breaker and 2x mutual favor overkill? I think so, unless you like really need to get the cat's cradle down. Yeah. Pinhole doesn't work with sec testing. It doesn't, but it works really well with Chesva. So there's reasons why you can consider playing it. Now, the other parts we have... sorry?
Sorry, Jessica says it's missing Docklands Pass as well.
It's called up in the write-up.
Would be another easy include. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so they're playing Panweave instead. Docklands totally works as a very similar slot. And Docklands is actually really good in Xayah because consistently it means if you're running HQ, you're seeing a minimum 2 cards, which is minimum 2 credits. It's really quite nice. Other things...
That's a Gabe right there.
Yeah, it's Gabe. You're Gabe. You're back to Gabe. You have 3x Jailbreak, which is sick. It's just one of the best turn 1 plays with Xayah. Draw cards, gain credits, see cards. You have 3 Steel Skin, which again is card draw. And let's point out here, how much card draw does the deck have? Like none, which is actually, I think, a substantial issue, and which is why I think this deck in this version really needs 3x Zenith. Because if you don't draw an opening Zenith, enjoy clicking to draw. And Steel Skins are really good, especially in Criminal now. They're taking damage consistently by playing their Cybernetics, and there is damage that just happens to you in startup. So I like the Steel Skin over the Diesel. You can afford that extra credit. That's quite nice. We have 3 Forged. This write-up calls out that there's the interaction between Stavka and Half Run that's really common in startup with Ob. In short, it makes a 7-strength Stavka that you cannot break with Matryoshka, which means you just lose the game if you hit it. And if we haven't been very clear, there is a lot of program destruction right now in startup, whether it's Retribution, whether it's Stavka, into all that sort of nonsense. Is this deck good at dealing with Archer or any of that other stuff? Not particularly. I played a game and I got Kimberlighted Field. Like someone Kimberlight fielded my Matryoshka. Like that just happens. There's
that's an easy Kimberlight as well.
Oh,
that's 3 credits.
Super easy.
That's super easy.
Yeah. The ZATO City Grid is super popular in Wayland, so they can Zato your breakers. People are playing like Onsell 1.0 into Nano Civic Grid. Like I would not play this deck in startup. There's no way to make it safer, but it is so fun. And it's so aggressive and it feels so good that I really enjoy it. But there's just startup right now has like a big triangle of it from my experience is all about rig shooting, that it is a very, very high risk to play this thing. So we'll see. They do call it finality, mind you, just massive multi-axis. You could play Maker's Eye, take 1 core damage, see 1 fewer, save an influence. I think that's totally fair. And then we have Forged, which is called out as a way to disrupt some of these combos. So you can pre-res the Stavka, hopefully, so that they can't Stavka half run you, or pre-resing half runs don't actually work. It's a 3 of in the deck. I don't know if I need it. I'm not actually sure I'd like it. I like running with my face, and we'll see. Sec testing and info bounty work really well, just pressuring multiple servers. They don't stack. The thing is, like, I'm not sure with this deck is if like you have Penny Shaver. We didn't talk about that. Almost, of course, you have Penny Shaver. From what I've played, actually, I've a lot of times ended the game with like 9 credits on Penny Shaver, not even needed to click it, just because this deck is so good at running that this actually might be a bit extra and might not be necessary. You might be able to play a different console. I don't know, Virtuoso Gang, Rise Up, or whatever. But it's really cool.
Yeah, maybe.
Also Botulus as a way for this deck to be able to deal with some of the ice that it doesn't deal with really well, which would be like high strength ice, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of the things that I have called out as like I think potential weaknesses to the deck, I think Bahram has addressed them pretty well. Swift could be okay. I think Swift rotated cat, so you can't in startup, unfortunately. This is a version that I think might be closer to how I think I would structure it. We have 3x Career Fair, which is quite nice. And then we're actually playing 3 Earthrise, which we get down cheaper. We're on a single info bounty, which take it or leave it, it's fine. We have 2 liberated accounts, which is really nice. This is actually a really big thing, is that on turn 1 or turn 2, if a corporation ices up every central server, the deck can struggle to move itself forward.
Yeah, for sure.
So having economy that is passive or doesn't require interaction is something I value in these sort of decks like Xayah decks or even more often Sabo decks. I like this liberated counts, and it's a fair bit easier to play with 3x Career Fair. For the same influence and for cheaper play, you could also consider Telework Contract. That's a kind of similar card for the same amount of influence, and I think either of those work. We're on 2 red team. Again, another Career Fair target. Works well with the deck. We've dropped the finality to play a Maker's Eye, and we dropped a Mutual Favor, which is sick. We also play a Docklands Pass, and we're fewer on the hardware, closer to what I think I would play. Just running 4 or 5 breakers plus inside jobs seems like it would be much smoother. I agree. I think the inside jobs are...
Yeah, but it's a different deck. We're not doing Matryoshka then.
No, yeah, exactly. It is not a different deck. And playing this deck so far, did that just show a password? I hope it didn't show a password.
Oh my god.
I gotta shut the stream down.
Someone clip it. No one clip it.
So that actually is a problem. So this is my version of the list, and
You should pause and like really quickly just reset your password.
I don't know how to do it. I don't know what password it was. So we'll see. Just wildcards. Okay, that's great.
All right, cool.
It might have been like a password suggestion for it. That's definitely not my password for this website. So this is my version of the deck. And so what I've done is actually kind of similar. I've played 6 Matryoshka, we're in 3 Chesva, and I'm playing 2 copies of Hush. And Hush beats Hordem. It beats Hordem. It does what you want it to do, but on its own is such a good card in startup. It turns out to be an amazing card in startup because basically every faction has some really, really, really weak ice to this. Also as Hunter too, right? Like you deal with toll booths, you deal with fun houses, you can pre-install if you really want to on top of Serevnas. You deal with Messna Chesvo so well, and then against Wayland, you can deal with the Stavka combo if you can really see it coming. Hordem you can deal with really well. HB, I don't think you have that much. You can maybe deal with the Pulse if you really wanted to, but NBN is just such a big force to deal with. Jinteki is not amazing either. You can maybe put one of these on I don't know, an Ivik, make it more expensive to res, but is Magnet still popular? Jessica, Magnet is popular. I think the decks that are running Hordem though are like less likely to run Magnet. I do think some of the op decks are kind of playing both sometimes, but usually those decks are playing Magnet because they want a good enough 3-costers, and their 4-cost slots are other stuff like Stavka. So it's not the worst. You went back and checked for me? Oh my god, thank you. Anvil and Wraparound? Yeah, Anvil's a really good one. Actually, Hushing an Anvil can be really mean in startup. It suggested a strong password. That makes sense. Thank you, Xaron. Appreciate it. So I think Hush is great, and it does a lot of what this deck wants to do, and it solves some of your pressure. Like if you're trying to run HQ consistently and they put a Funhouse on HQ, or they put like a Messna Chesvo on HQ in their Pravdivos, like you're kind of stuck, and this just solves everything. I'm not running the Maker's Eye or the Finality. I thought I want to use my influence somewhere else. We're on 2 Wake, 2 Zenith, which I thought was pretty good. Does Hush make Archer free? Yes, if you pre-install the Hush, which I wouldn't do against Wayland. They still pay 4, but yeah, they don't have to do the... Actually, I'm not sure, because the text might be on when it's upside down. I don't actually know how that works.
I can't remember what the answer to that was, but for whether Magnet beats Hush, I think Hush always beats Magnet.
Yes.
That's the way they decided it should be.
Yeah.
And they kind of, they had to decide one of these will always beat the other, and they went with Hush on this one.
Yeah, so Hush does beat Magnet, that's for sure. We're still not on any pinhole threading, so ZATO City Grid servers, we just have to run away because we can't beat them. We're also really bad at dealing with upgrades inherently because Matryoshka is not good at running back on the server. So if someone has like an Anoetic Void,
oh yeah,
bye. But that's okay, because while that's a strong weakness of this deck is not good at running the remote server. It's really good at just saying, I don't care. I'm going to try and tunnel R&D, and it's actually in the best interest of a lot of those decks to put their Anoetic on R&D or HQ. And if they're doing that, then the remote is weaker. So you kind of get your cake and get it, eat it too, to some extent. Otherwise, we have 2 no free lunch, and we're on 2 red team. I'm not playing an info bounty. Maybe we should, but I'm probably not playing startup without this. Maybe I'm a coward. We're not playing Netrunner yet. Yo, Galhar, how's it going? We're just about to. You want to suit up this one?
Do I want to what?
Do you want to suit up? We'll play this version.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do that one.
Hey,
sorry, I was not prepared for colloquial terms at the moment. Brain not full function. Hey, Kokoro.
Kokoro, how's it going? Also, sorry, I don't know how to say your name, but you said swordsman, ... question mark. Yes. Big weakness of the deck. We lose to swordsman. We lose to Kimberlite Field. There's a lot of cards we just straight lose to. I'm hoping we don't queue into those, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the thing. This deck has like a really, really high... It's a really fun deck, but there's just certain things that it's not tech to build with. And the more time I think you spend teching to fight the niche to common things that you lose to, the less of an interesting deck you get.
Yeah, and maybe the slower as well. And if you're trying to go for like a super fast deck that just gets maximum accesses early, then yeah.
Philip, wouldn't Hutch turn off Swordsman? It would, but you'd have to figure out what the Swordsman is, where it is unresed. So you could. It's a bit of a gamble. You're not very...
Well, that's what the Forge Activation Order is for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not a big believer in Forged. I do think it can do some nice work, but like, yeah, I guess if you're forging everything that you're unsure of, sure. It's really nice to play Zaya. It's been a minute. She's fun. Just win before they find the rig shooter pieces. Honestly, yes. That's what we try.
Nice, yeah,
but it can be hard. It can like if you just don't get lucky on R&D, the game goes long. Who's playing Swordsman? Exactly, VK. No one's playing Swordsman. Like unironically, nobody's playing Swordsman
until someone queues into this match,
which is fine.
With an all Swordsman all the time deck. Yeah, that's fine.
The thing is, like, Swordsman kind of got outclassed by, just like, oh, you can play Anemone in that slot. And it's kind of like, obviously it doesn't have an AI hate, but it feels like the sort of deck slot it should take.
Yeah.
Are there any good matchups that you anticipate? Yes. There are potentially some really good matchups. Again, I've played, I think, about 5 games with this so far. I can look at our settings, but anything that's like honest, like HB Ice, you just go through it. You just tunnel R&D. This could be bad. This could be Stofka. This could be Kimberlite. This can be Zato. This can be the worst of everything.
There's only a few Netrunner strats you ever need. One is be good. Number 2 is don't be bad. Number 3 is profit.
There's a get lucky in there at some point. Okay, so obviously taking damage while you have Matryoshkas in hand, it's a bit of a risk, but hey, it's what we do. The best card in our hand, 2 Matryoshkas and a Zenith.
Yeah, that's solid.
What do we want to open with, though? I think we want to open with Jailbreak a lot of the time. Zenith, but we have 3 of, right? Maybe that's the benefit of how we can mulligan this deck.
You're thinking about mulliganing this? I don't know.
I think we need some amount of economy.
That's what is that's card draw is econ, and your Zaya, you're getting the money back right away.
Okay.
I know.
I'll do it. I'll do it, Pat. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
It's so easy for me to like strong arm the whole gameplay section when we're remote,
Yeah, not just when you're remote. As someone who's been there in person, I'm just gonna say maybe it doesn't really matter where I am geographically vis-a-vis.
It seems like a mulligan. I know. I think it was.
Yeah, you Sanguine, okay, but maybe you're not. Maybe you're a backseat quarterbacking.
All right, so
is that a? I'm not going to think about that phrase.
So this is an Oaktown. We definitely want to steal that before they rush it out. We can always see what it is with the Forge. Unfortunately, if we put 2 Matryoshkas down, the most we can break is an Ice Wall. Or we could do install, credit run, and we could break a Whoredom. Yeah, Inside Job would be lovely right now, and that's like the thing.
Yeah,
it's like this play is so risky against Inside Jobs, which are generally 2-ups and criminals.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? Like, I think we forged it. Otherwise, we can just ignore it and Zenith hit centrals. Do we want to forge it? Like, is there any benefit?
Ignoring it sucks. I want to forge it.
Okay, so we can beat no dupes here. We can beat Ice Wall. It's an envelopment. Can't beat that.
Well, all right. Well, now we know, and it's going to tick down anyway. And
yeah. So
okay.
The thing here is we could do like Matryoshka, host Matryoshka, Zenith chip, but then we're not getting our access. So I reckon we want to hit these 2 and then get an access, and then next turn Zenith to hit the steel skin 100%.
No. We Matryoshka install Zenith because we get the card draw.
But then we're not running, which means we don't get an access. We don't get Zaya.
Well, okay, but we get 2 free draws for the.
But we can do that first click next turn, right?
Okay. All right. So yeah. So install, run.
Like, in theory, we don't have to install these. We could have ran first. That probably would have been smarter because we could have trashed something. Did they mull? They kept. So do they have 2 agendas in HQ? I don't know, but we can find out a bit about their hand. Whoredom. Love to see that after you install Matryoshkas.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. At least if they score that out, we have open centrals. So here we love a jailbreak off of the Zenith chip hit. So this Zenith draws us. No jailbreak. And this is where I don't like having 3 of a unique card that we don't want here. Thanks for helping me find a new channel name. What is it? Zenith? Okay, so we definitely run here. We want to run
Mhm.
HQ. We only know one card.
Yeah, let's check HQ. I like seems like a mulligan as a channel name. That would be fun. Just a general competitive card game channel.
Okay, and now because
Right.
we've
So
invested
there's
in the
not two of
Matryoshkas,
them for sure. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. We don't have credits, right? So
Mhm.
we have to draw into an economy card. This deck doesn't have Dirty Laundry, I don't think. Does it?
Oh, that's kind of
It
surprising. Yeah, I
doesn't
don't
have
think it
Dirty
does.
Laundry, which is also like a thing
Mhm,
you could definitely play in here.
mhm.
So we just need to draw into multi-axis. We have the twinning, but it only works if we get the Chesva down. That's probably how we're going to try and win the game. They didn't keep this in the remote server. That's what we would love to draw into
That's something.
first. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
Too bad we already used our Saya run, so I guess we're gonna save that
just take a
and
credit.
hope they don't.
No, we'll draw once and throw this out, right? Cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Backseat quarterback. That's
Oh, backseat quarterback. Yeah.
definitely is an indie band already with that name.
Yeah, probably.
Quarterback seat. Okay, so this is getting worse and worse for
Quarterback
them.
seat is my Nickelback cover band, by the way.
So we want to go R&D here, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we're just going to open with the jailbreak. This again is 2 card draw, 2 credits, 2 accesses. That's really good. Like this is where the deck
Feels
feels
pretty good.
really good. And if we
But
lock
we're
the
just gonna
top of the
steal some
deck,
agendas right here.
they
Yeah.
cannot. Yeah, there you go. They cannot.
Good to know. Wish we had no free lunch.
Wish we had no free lunch. Okay,
Okay, so they will be able to
they're trying to tag
public
us
trail. Yeah, they'll be able to public trail into
this turn.
end of the line. Yeah.
Like
Just trying to.
it's not even end of the line, man. If they retribution or Matryoshka, do we lose? Yes, but even slower and more painfully.
Uh, I don't know. Yeah, but I guess we do have a steel skin in hand.
That doesn't
That's
do
something.
anything. There's
I
no
know it
amount of
doesn't.
steel skins that will like they only do
Well, no,
that.
they'd have to like double tag us, and we'd have to have 2 tags, and then they hit with this with 2 end of the lines.
Sure. For sure. I'm not worried about end of line. I'm worried about retribution. I'm assuming
Okay.
when there's where there's smoke, there's also like an alternate kind of smoke that also can hurt us.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know Hordem in hand. We know nothing else. We're gonna discard a card. I think we need to install the Chesva. Maybe we can get some trashing here on central servers. They probably so they've gone through 9 cards. We've seen 2 agendas. That's what we're assuming is what we assume. We need this to get value from the twinning, and I think that's how we lock the game. So I think we just run here and boost, right? Oh wait, we didn't get the twinning down. I don't think we're gonna get the twinning down.
I was laughing at Thanos. Yeah, all my Nickelback covers are just songs about myself. It's too bad I can't think of any other Nickelback song names. I had friends who were really into Nickelback when I was younger. I don't have those friends anymore, let me tell you.
The Ice of R&D, we've seen a Hordem, we've seen an Envelopment. You got former Matryoshkas? We do, but then we have to draw them and install them before we can break a single piece of ice. Like, that's not a good place to be.
Mhm.
So here, we could jailbreak HQ. It draws us 2 cards. I don't think the accesses are of quality, but we're pretty sure this is a Hordem or Retribution. If it's a Stavka, it's really bad.
Horton or Envelopment?
Sorry?
Horton or Envelopment?
Excuse me, yeah, Hordem or Envelopment.
I mean, that's worth checking.
But
Like, those aren't
we can't with
useful.
jailbreak, right? Because we can't afford to break
No,
it.
no, that's true.
So what do we do? Do we just put the twinning, hit HQ, see 2 cards, gain a credit? I think we have to play, like, do we just play it no money?
Sure. What money are we waiting for here?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, like the
Info
info
bounty?
bounty and stuff like that.
Hope it rolls good.
Yeah, I guess so.
So we could, I just don't want to jailbreak HQ because I don't think they have it. That's another Matryoshka, which is nice, but like, I think here we just need credits. Unfortunately, if we install the twinning, like, we're not going to have credits ever. So here we can break not a lot. Why can't you break R&D ice though? If it's a Hordem, we could. If it's Envelopment, we can't. If it's a Stavka, it's like game losing. So if we jailbreak here, we have only 5 credits, right? So to break this, it's 7. So we'd have to click for credits, right? So let's just double down on our, our liability.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, we definitely should have ran there because we got a card and a credit. That was really bad. As much as we were risking public trail, we definitely should have run.
Mm.
It's a free card and credit as opposed to doing those as separate clicks. You can break Hordem. Yeah, we could break Hordem. If it's a Stavka, though, it's bad. If it's the thing is like we could run. I just don't want to spend credits if it's only a single axis, especially because, well, we didn't know the card, right? Regular his ice wall.
I have not tried Sorcery Ixaran, even though I am one of those assholes who backed the Kickstarter without having tried the game. So just waiting to see how that works out. I will try a game on TTS at some point soon, I hope.
Sorcery looked so. I don't know. I think that we were talking about it. It looks like every card game all at once and no card game all at
Yes.
once. I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, we're gonna go R&D, right? How much does it cost to break this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it's a Hortum. Fine. They might triple advance that. Then we'd have to install the Cat's Cradle. So this is where we do our thing. Match strength to Hortum. We can give them a credit. It's not worth our credit. Given what you know of HQ, it's unlikely they have a trail yet. Yeah, I don't think they have a trail. But the accesses on HQ weren't particularly good. Oh, you see? Now if they just have a trash program subroutine, we also lose the game.
Are we going to trash that?
Guess
not.
We probably should have in like immediate hindsight. I forgot that we were given that option. Yeah, we definitely should have trashed that. Can I run that back?
Yeah, the art was actually something that drew me to it. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I do like some of that classic, like Frank Frazetta is one of the artists whose work they include on it. I don't think he is alive anymore, but like that they have some of his art in the game, and I know he's like, you know, not exactly the least problematic of fantasy artists, but it's like, yeah, that's the kind of classic art covers of pulpy fantasy novels that I do actually kind of enjoy. I like reading those and seeing those.
I've said did some solo world breakers on TDS. Might upload it. It was sort of interesting, but also there's an hour I missed a solo scenario rule. Sorry about that. I know my world
I finally
breakers.
got my I got my tracking for it.
Yeah, me too.
Like yesterday, so that's cool.
Was the email busted?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was totally busted.
Did not understand how to be an email.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to get in touch with the Silver Goblin people because they still want to host like a world premiere.
Oh, super cool.
Of World Breakers.
Yeah, I'm actually really quite excited to get that in table. I've said it before many times. I am really bad at that game. So I want to figure out how to make that work. They've drawn Best Lock. So this is where like getting the twinning down, if they can't ice up R&D better than we can get through, which at this point they probably can, we can see the top 2 cards every turn. 2 ice is a problem.
Uh-oh.
Okay, what do we do?
Twinning run.
If we twinning run, we only have 8 credits to break, so we can probably get through the first ice. I think it's still fair. So what's the numbers for Stavka? For Stavka, we need 7, so we're fine. They could archer us too, which would also probably lose us the game. Envelopment, I don't think we have the numbers to go through all of this because it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is 8, 9, 10. So we just bounce.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. That seems like a fair bounce.
And on any turn that they use their op ability, we can go and just get this envelopment trashed, which is like a nice thing to do. Okay, so here we run archives, right?
Begalter rotated from startup.
Yeah, Cat. The startup rotation's been huge for so many reasons. All right, they threw out Matryoshka. No surprise that it's not amazing against my. Sorry, they threw out Maskarovka. Yeah. We have the Waken plant. Again, has a chance of hitting the Steel Skin. If we lose this Cat's Cradle, though, we can't deal with Hortum. So like, it's hard for us to take that risk right now.
Yeah, and it's only one of.
Yeah. I just take a credit. I guess we're still weak to Public Trail.
Sure.
Corpse can win games in startup now. Yes. Oh, we should have boosted. You're totally right, Kyle. We forgot to boost this thing. Yeah, Corpse actually have like legitimate game plans. Okay, so we run this, right?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think we totally can.
Could have pumped on archives. Yeah, we also could have pumped on R&D. We definitely messed that up. So this cost us 1 to break. This is free. Do we let it fire? It costs us 3 credits to not let it fire. I think we let it fire.
I feel like we let it fire because the money's pretty valuable to us right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so we should add a twinning charge, that's for sure. At this point, do they have an agenda in HQ? They've been drawing pretty aggressively, and they don't have a great remote server, so I think there's a chance. This also Ob ability just pulls cards out of their deck, so our central aggression does get a bit stronger as long as we can get there. There's a Hortum. I think we have to get our Cat's Cradle down.
Makes sense. Yep.
But I'm going to wait for them to triple advance it.
They don't need the money.
They don't need the money.
So that's fine.
No. If anything, it's something for them to extract, but like they can extract whatever they want. All right, we've already ran. We can run archives, Chesva, Matryoshka draw.
Yeah.
Because we're not running another central. In fact, maybe we should run HQ. This is, again, where Docklands Pass would be kind of sick, and I'd like it better than the bit of denial we'd get from Panweave. So we'll do this. Click to draw, not good for you. HQ seems better. Yeah, I think HQ would have been better there. I think there's a chance they have an agenda and they're trying to bait us here. Okay, so I want them to triple advance this before we show that we have the cradle. Finality we have, I don't think we need a mutual favor, so I think we just click to 8 and then throw that out.
That makes sense.
Hostile? Hostile.
Okay.
We like bad pub.
We kind of like that.
Yeah,
we like that bad pub.
We like bad pub. So, do we go HQ?
Yeah, let's see what's on HQ.
We don't know what this is because we saw Whoredom and Envelopment and they're accounted for. So if it's an archer, it's like what, 4 for strength, and we have to break only 2 of them. So we're good. The question is, do we get done our Waken plan first? We just have to hope it doesn't hit the Cat's Cradle.
That's a risk. A 1 in 3 that we lose.
Yeah, no.
The one thing that lets us win. I don't know.
We have twinning. Maybe we're fine. So even if they don't res here, we'll boost our Matryoshka. We can flush 3 from HQ. I don't think we know any cards in HQ besides the end of the line. Oh, this thing's really annoying. Have you seen Anvil in Startup? It just grinds.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It grinds. They drew 2, actually. That's a bit of a liability. So we have to trash one of our installed cards. So...
And the hosted Matrushkas are not counted as installed, of course. Just a quick reminder. Ches...
Wait, why are they firing that? Oh, so sorry, I can boost here. So we hit continue to encounter. That shouldn't happen. So we should be able to boost the Chesva to boost the Matryoshka and then lose the Chesva, which I think is correct here.
Probably, yeah.
Because I don't think we want to take another core damage into end of the line, and the twinning is our win con. Also, the host and Matryoshka are not installed, so we can't choose to fire those. Shall I run back?
Maybe they don't know the secret Hortum text that was not relevant until mere weeks ago.
Yeah, that tracks. Okay, that's so much smarter. Yeah. Counter, they're power counters, right? Oh.
What just happened?
I clicked on it.
Oh, did we use the twinning?
Yeah, right. I clicked on it. Choose a card to trash.
Oh, let's try this again.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll just fix it. Counter,
trust me,
power.
I'm doing it the way I should do it.
No, with Runner, it shows you everything we do because all our stuff is face up. Okay, that should do it. We did it. Okay, so we're gonna access 3, draw a card. It's nice. Penny Shaper's good. And Serevna, ooh, that's rude.
That's an interesting include.
End of the line. It's really cool with ZATO, and they have double end of the line. So yeah, I'm always slamming the wake there. 1 and 3 that you make all things a bit tougher. It seems fine. There's a botcha still in the deck too. The thing is, like, now we can't run HQ consistently, and maybe that's you know, confirmation bias, but like we cannot run consistently through Anvil. And again, why I love Hush so much better in this deck than Botulus, let alone Cat's Cradle. So that's bad. We can set up a finality eventually. Now we're actually playing with our own money instead of the Chesva house money. Is the Penny Shaver worth it? Probably, especially with uniced archives. Do we contest Spin Doctor here?
But like the game is not close to being done.
It's only
Penny Shaver does make some sense.
It's accelerating towards worse though.
Yeah.
If they don't trash this here, we have bad pub, so we trash it for 1. So yeah, they're gonna fire it. When you're really determined not to do undo click, felt like that was easier. Okay, so I don't think we can do the wake implant, so I think we just draw and throw this out, right?
Yeah.
Like we can't afford to go through this every turn. Oh, okay, we throw that out instead.
Yeah, that's more obvious to throw.
I don't know, it's weird. It's like the deck's on 3 info bounty, but it's only on 2 Penny Shaver, and I'd argue that I'm not sure which one, if needs to be a 3 of, which one should be a 3 of. It's not like you need the MU.
I feel like the MU is pretty helpful.
The most we can do is like 5 MU.
2 MU and.
Oh, you're right.
Like,
it's 2 MU.
2 MU plus the Chespas, and you probably want the Cat's Cradle and the Botulus. I don't know. It feels, you know, it's not the most MU hungry, but I would rather have +1 MU.
So now we have an issue that if we finality, we lose to like Drago and Align 100% of the time. Right? Like it's really hard to take 2 core damage in startup because there's so many things that are playing end the line and we just die. So if we're finality, we have to win off the finality. So that's rough.
So let's wait until we're at like 4 or 5 points before we finality.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We have 1 more jailbreak though, so we have no other multi-access besides getting a Chesva down, which would be sick.
Yeah, and they are They are not
Oh, here it is.
advancing. Oh, okay. Pretty cool.
Cats into Wake. Cats into Wake would have been good, but I don't actually know if the Wake is worth it considering this. Admittedly, you're right. I don't know if Wake is actually worth it. I think we're dying here pretty quickly. Yeah, I think it's catching up with us.
Mhm.
All right, I think we're just drawing. I think we can discard one of these easily. We might as well
Okay,
run
let's see
archives
it.
then instead of drawing. So it's no dirty laundry. That's like 2 out of 3 times this is okay, I guess.
Huh.
Is this an IZF? Like, are they going to hit our cat's cradle? Okay, whatever. We can take whatever damage we want. So Serevna could be on the remote server. 3 for Atlas. Okay, so they're just on game point. That's fine.
Okay.
This thing is now something we can deal with. So we don't have a lot of money. HQ is the mark as well. But we just don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, we're not going to run HQ. Or are we?
We could be losing as soon as in 2 turns, right? They install and then we can't run the remote server. We could lose. We could always contest the remote server. We're going to need another Matryoshka, so we'll have to find it. So we could, in theory, like just jailbreak, smash through the anvil. If they use their anvil to trash the envelopment or trash something else, they'll probably trash the envelopment. Then we don't have to deal with envelopment. So I think we just fire this. Like, I think we just jailbreak HQ and then finality R&D. Because like the game is going to be over so soon that I don't think we have to respect the core damage.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Okay.
Let's see if there's an agenda in there.
Like, we can just give the twinning to this because we're going to be over. The game's going to be over before we get value off of this twinning.
Mhm.
Now, admittedly, that means they can use their envelopment and actually get a real 4-cost dice. But it also takes a non-agenda out of R&D, which is kind of good for us. Oh, they didn't find a 4-cost. Let R&D to run the envelopment eat the ob trigger before hitting HQ. If this hits the ob trigger, though, and they shuffle out, I don't know. We're in, though.
Finality equals fatality.
All right, Serevna. So 2 Serevna. Whoa. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Info bounty. Do we get 2 credits here? Probably nothing. Probably fine. So.
Or do we wait for the finality? Is this the finality turn?
Yeah, it's definitely the
It
finality
seems
turn.
very unlikely. Okay, yeah. I guess we go for it.
Yeah, we just go for it, right?
Okay. So finality, and on this one, we're going to use the Zaya.
Yeah. This line seems so desperate. I think we're basically at the point that we kind of have to be. Maybe we don't, but I feel like that's kind of what this deck wants to do. So it's cheaper to use the Matryoshka. When do you take the core damage? Oh, we already took it. That's why we drew so much with Steel Skin. Oh, that's a good hit, I guess. We'll just break 1. Why didn't we gamble first? We're going to get our money back off of this. Hedge fund. Zato. Can't trash it.
Huh.
All right.
Well,
that can't be
let's
good.
get some money back.
It can't be good.
That's too bad.
All right. So it seems like that might have been a bit too fast, too loose, huh?
Well, gamble, Chesva. Hope for the best.
Shall refusing Zaya credits? Did I see that? Yeah. Not on that run. We refused them on this run because we're going to run R&D and we're going to see more cards. So
yeah, that's right. We had a bigger run coming up.
Yeah.
There you
now you died a single end of line. Yes, technically for sure. But we thought we were going to lose pretty soon. There's a chance they actually don't have an upgrade, but I actually don't think they have agendas, so we might be able to hold on just a wee bit longer.
Now that we know there's no agendas coming up, we can run HQ, force them into a shuffle.
They can opt not to.
But would they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they would.
Unless they didn't have the agenda, otherwise shuffling could be good for them. Here, I think we have to consider the Waken Plant, but again, it's like hard for us to sustain the Anvil tax. Like the Anvil tax is totally real. Again, Hush is great. I think we just play the Chesva. It's like not amazing. We already have bad pub, but it's something we can sell away. We're going to be under at least at 8 credits, so they have to double public trail us. But like here, we can lose to Biotic. We've seen a fair bit of influence. Hedge fund. Botto Anvil, it doesn't really change much because they're going to probably just trash cards anyways. So, right? Like it doesn't really do anything. You see, this is what I was worried about. Now, this could be the ZATO was actually 2 down, but this is where we lose because we don't have enough Matryoshkas. That's kind of why we went like ham on R&D. So How do we do this?
Yeah. Can we? So we've got Botulus, we've got Cat Cradle,
Mhm.
10 credits, maybe 4 if we click the Penny Shaver first.
Yeah, we can also run archives, draw a card, gain 3 off the penny shaver and all that nonsense.
I mean, it seems like we could definitely do 3 of the ice, and maybe we can do more if they have more than one code gate, which is possible.
Yeah, I think you're right. We could maybe challenge it. If it's a ZATO, how
Yeah.
bad is it? There's no border control in the format, so I do think we just like run archives, pop this, then go. We also might draw into a Matryoshka, which would be nice. I think you have to gamble with the botulus, sketch which one the bot can break if you're sure it's an agenda. There is like no ice the botulus breaks on its own that you're expecting in the stacks, barring Ice Wall, and maybe they're on what's it called? Ballista. But almost all their ice has more than one subroutine that are relevant. They threw out unend a line. This isn't an agenda. It might be. I don't know what else it is. We haven't seen much. But like we know there's no agendas in R&D. And so they have an agenda in HQ, it definitely goes here. So I'm not actually sure. If we gamble that it's not an agenda, we can R&D lock them. But we know the next card, and we know the next card underneath that because they didn't draw, did they?
Yep. Right, they did not, and they've not used the shuffle. So
yeah. So my guess is this could easily be an agenda. Because so we saw down to like 23. So that means we've gone through about 20 cards. We're assuming about 5 agendas and 20 cards. So the chance of this being an agenda is not 0. They drew a lot with the Spin Doctor. We only saw like 2. And then when we ran back, we saw the same cards again. So I do think there's a chance that we were unlucky and there might be something in there. If it's a ZATO, it could be a ZATO. But like, if it's a ZATO, we can't win on their most server anyways. We could always try. But also if they ZATO, they shuffle R&D. So we have a chance. The problem is we only see single accesses.
Yeah, so we're going to get the Penny Shaver money and then run?
I guess we might as well guess for the Botulus because we have to discard it.
Yeah, it should probably be more an outermost ice, so they can't just do like trash it for a benefit.
You think outermost? This is probably a Serevna. That's the issue. It's like we're gonna be running last click, and this is probably the Serevna. Yeah, that's actually messed up. We can't run the Serevna, so I don't think we do this because we need a click to clear the tag. Yeah, let's just run. Yeah, VK, I think we might gamble to be agenda, but I'm, as like a player, unfortunately averse to like doing nothing and losing to that. Admittedly, that's a lot of times the right play, but it's generally makes bad TV. So we're gonna go call them on it. They're thinking though. Again, if it's just like a ballista into a ZATO, it's obviously a problem. Okay.
Okay.
So we can get through the server. Okay, this is where it's bad. 3 costs. They can get a defensive upgrade too, which is cool. So can they just throw this at us or no? Do they have the timing window here?
I'm sure we've already encountered it.
When you res this ice, yes. So we already encountered it.
But certainly the next ice. But now R&D is shuffled, so that's something.
Yeah. At Serevna, at least doesn't keep you out. No, but it costs us the game because then we'll either have less than 3 cards and either a tag or 1 card, so it probably costs us the game. Not great. So here we obviously have to break this. They can throw it at you.
Has the unencounter effect not already passed?
Yeah, res both. They move to uncounter and throw it. Oh, because you res on approach. You're right. Yeah. That's totally true. Because I haven't encountered yet. I haven't encountered yet. Yeah. Again, this is super common in startup. Playing the only Matryoshka build is like kind of messed up. Yeah, because we hadn't encountered it yet. And this is on res and you res on approach. Cool. So we're going to continue because at least nothing hurts us here. Yeah. That'll do it.
Yeah. That'll do it.
So we could get an access on R&D though. That's kind of cool, right?
I love accesses in R&D. Let's do it.
Okay. 5? No, thank you. Cool. We know this is one, right? We don't know it's an agenda necessarily, but like no matter what, they'd want to trash from Matryoshka.
Oh, Pulse, cool.
Oh yeah, no, they shuffled. Yeah, so we don't know it. Well, okay, if the game's not over.
Yeah, Julien, it is a Matryoshka deck. As you can see, there's no Matryoshka on the table, so
GG.
that's how you can tell it's a Matryoshka deck.
So it was the 3-2. We got pretty unlucky. Like we did actually a lot of cards from central servers, and we did not see an agenda. So I don't think that was good for us. Whether we had our pressure at the right time or the wrong time off of central servers, maybe you can you make some decisions on that. I have to watch the tape. But like this is exactly what I mean. That there's like 4 to 5 different angles that this deck, which is really common in startup, can absolutely crush us. Like we let a Zato go through, we lose. We hit a Stavka and they have Zato in their deck, we just lose. We hit a Blister or an Archer or a 7-string Stavka we can't get to, we just lose. They play Kimberley Field, we just lose. So they have Retribution, Public Trail, we just lose. Like the deck is really fun, but there's so many things that we just lose to. Hey, cheers. They got super lucky. They did get really good agendas. Like their agendas feathered through pretty perfectly. They also, I don't know if they knew that we're not inside job, but like the Oaktown renovation push behind the envelopment, I don't know if I'd be brave enough to do that in startup.
Yeah, that's pretty ballsy against criminals.
Yeah,
for sure.
Especially a 40 card deck, right? Like the chance of having an inside job in hand, if you have 2 of them, is a fair bit higher than 45. Rig shooting's pretty good in startup. It's sick in startup, which is a shame because the deck is really fun. Hey, Myth, how's it going?
Yeah,
I have a similar build as
let's
Steve.
go to oh yeah, with 3 Botulus
and 3 IJ. Yeah,
inside job.
I'm not sure if I love the Botulus again. I think even like this is the thing. If you're playing 3 Botulus, this deck probably could just be playing 2 Endurance. And then you have Endurance Matryoshka, which is a sick rig. I do think, again, the Hush is really, really good. But like if you're spending that much influence on Botulus, I do think I'd rather play Boat, right? Yeah, Boat is still in startup. Yeah, I think I actually think putting Boat in this deck, like I think Boat plus Matryoshka might just solve some of the issues the deck has, as much as Boat kind of is leaned on by everything. But 3 inside job is great. Cool. That's the deck. I'm glad that we played it, and I'm glad that I got to test this before, because Matryoshka is like way more fun than I thought it would be, and I am going to be recording gameplay again. I have my version of the deck that I've been playing for a bit, and it's been doing okay. We've been having, again, sometimes just really bad matchups, like Kimberlite Fielded we got and lost to Matryoshka with a 4 stack on it. Like that just happens. And so it's going to take me a while, but that should be maybe next week. Yeah. Between Boat and Pinhole, there's some good tools to not get rig shot. Yeah, if you're not playing Boat, though, it's like so hard to deal with Stavka half run, which is another thing that deck can do. Like, even if you have one way to deal with the Stavka, you need 2 ways to deal with Stavka because of Stavka half run, which is super common. Cool.
Cool. Is there any news this week? I don't think so.
Sort of.
Okay.
Hold on. So, there was an update, like a null signal production update, right? That says the new set seems to be coming out, if you look at this diagram, at the end of June, right?
Oh shit.
So
I've got to hand in my everything.
So whatever this diagram is called, which is awesome, it looks like set is released as a POD product is all the way down here, which lines up to about the beginning of July. So June 30th, Canada Day, around that area. I guess America Day is a bit later, but that's obviously super, super sick. I was thinking about this, Pat, because I was thinking about other games that I know we enjoy. I like Marvel Champions a lot. Summoner Wars is a cool game. Even Doomtown, the way I play it. I'm not saying that
Doomtown has arrived, by the way.
Oh,
hello.
That box is that small?
Yeah, it's quite okay. So look at how densely packed.
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
Are you guys seeing this?
You gotta tip it a bit more. I did.
No, I'm not gonna tip it a bit more. I know what. Yeah, this is just packed, and it can't fit sleeved cards in here at all, for sure.
Yeah.
But this is a really nice box. It's like super thick cardboard. You could brain someone with this.
I ordered my copy of it. I thought I wouldn't get into it because I already have all of old Doomtown. This is a Doomtown reboot, but I did pre-order the box now, so I'm excited for that. So one of the big things that made me really interested about Marvel Champions is that when they sell you a product like a deck, right? It's a pre-made deck. So I can just open the deck and go sit down and play a game, which is a sick thing. We kind of experimented a bit with that in Arkham Horror, and I think that actually was very successful as a starting to play product. Is that something that you think, like, how would the world interact with that if it was a Netrunner thing, right? Like, if, instead of a box of cards, it was like, oh, here is like an ESA deck that comes with, you know, like some neutral cards and then all the core damage package and as a release model. Obviously, I know you put Null Signal. I'm not saying that Null Signal is doing this or anything like that. I just want to know, how do you think people would interact with that?
I think that it would be probably a pretty popular beginner product, if that's like Are you talking about like if every cycle was released to that? I don't think that would make sense.
Like, do you
Because I
think
think
people
that
would?
would like
I don't think Netrunner's good where that people. Excuse me. I think there's some players that would like a la carte to be like, oh, I only care about Shaper and Criminals or Shaper and Wayland or whatever, and they'd only buy those packs. And so, like, whatever that does, maybe that makes it accessible or not. But I like the idea that there's always a release of things that are like a pre-made product that are meant to be on power level, that are similar to one another, right? So people could be like, oh, this is the null signal criminal deck. This is the null signal, Parhealing Error this deck, and they can play them off against each other. Would I need to buy the 3x to have all the cards? No, I don't think so. They don't do that for like Summoner Wars or Marvel Champions. They still give you a full play set in the whole deck.
yeah. So I play like yeah. So Champions does it one way where there are still a lot of like core staple cards that Champions reprints in many of the decks. Like you in every time you buy a Champions deck, you're
Yeah,
probably getting extras of Strength or Genius or whatever.
which would be like Sure Gamble
Um,
equivalent.
yeah, exactly. And that feels like kind of an inefficient way of doing things, but I don't think anyone's really bothered by it. In Summoner Wars and Ashes Reborn, it's a completely new deck every time. But both those games have like the kind of built-in econ that
Yeah,
can work without having
to
econ cards in the
reprint.
deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whereas like Netrunner, you would need to have Sure Gamble or something like that in every
I,
single deck.
only if the decks were meant to be competitive level, and I don't think they do.
Sure.
Like, I think if the power level of all the pre-con decks were lower, where like Sure Gamble would actually be like a sick card, you maybe are able to get away with it. Now,
But what if? But that might make it feel like that would feel like a different game if we're like tuning things down. It probably
yeah,
slows everything down, doesn't it?
yeah, it obviously has an impact on the game. But like, I like those sort of things because they're the sort of like environments or standalone decks where like cards that on its own are probably not good. Like, build around economy cards. Sometimes those are really interesting and you don't see enough play. I'm not saying this is good, but like, imagine there was a null signal, like a pre-con deck that actually made isolation look okay. And again, I don't think isolation, it's easy for it to look okay, but you know what I mean? Like, I would love to see a deck where that was part of the econ engine. It wouldn't be obviously of standard competitive value or a power level. Yeah.
One thing I was disappointed by in the Doomtown box actually was it did not include recommended starter decks in the rules.
No,
I
online
did
they
have to
do.
yeah, I had to go online, and I guess that's because maybe they can change or something. But like, I'd rather that have been in the physical rulebook.
That's how they used to sell it. Like, if you recommended to get into Doomtown like a year ago, I would just say go to drive-through games and order the pre-constructed decks. And then they also have kind of like null signal system gateway, which a lot of folks in chat are saying this is the closest thing to, and it totally is. They have like an extra sideboard pack, which is a really cool model to be like, here's the deck, and then here's some extra cards that you can slot into the deck for different angles on the same idea.
Yeah. Has NSG considered the world champion decks like FFG used to? I think like NSG's equivalent has been like they'll release like a pack of some alt arts that are kind of representative of that player's deck,
Yeah.
rather than a whole reprinted deck.
So like the last ones were the full arts from the decks that Limes played, and there's actually like a signature on the cards themselves, which I don't know how well that's sold as a product. Obviously Null Signal does, but I don't think they've done that since then. I don't know if they would. Who knows?
Yeah.
World Champ decks were cool though. Excuse me. But I'm a big fan of just like having full arts all the time. Logistically, you need to release a full cycle's worth of cards rather than the half cycle. Logistically, the model makes no sense, if you ask me, for Null Signal, because it requires a lot of smaller products as opposed to like one big push a year. And I think, it's obviously an immense amount of work, no matter which way you cut it. So
yeah,
it's just something I was thinking about because I know there's a lot of folks who like that sort of idea. There's like, I know online people publish collections like, oh, these are like 12 decks that are of equal power level that you can have sleeved up at the same time. And I have no doubt there's a lot of people that play the game like that, similarly to how I play Doomtown, which is like I have a bunch of pre-con decks and that's all I do. And Doomtown's sick for it.
Yeah, I do think that if that kind of thing were released, it would be very popular because there are a lot of people who want to play Netrunner kind of just like a board game or something like that. They wish they could, and it's not easy. Like there is a barrier, there's a hump they have to get over, which is you have to go to Netrunner DB, you have to know what you're looking for, and so on. But if they were just sold like, yeah, here are two decks that are going to play against each other, and you can buy these two more decks, and they're like these four kind of are balanced around each other. I don't know. I don't know what plans are exactly in that regard, but it would be cool.
Speaking of RDB, this is huge. If Rahit is in chat, I don't know if this is the same Rahit, but I think it was a week ago. I mentioned a grievance I had about Netrunner DB. Classically, when you search into the Netrunner DB card search section and you search the name of something, like say we searched ping, you couldn't find ping. Ping wouldn't show up, even though that clearly, if you write the word ping, is what you were looking for. And the problem is if you search ping, there's like 10 cards that have the name ping in it to some extent, right? Like Zona Seal, shipping,
Genotyping. Yep, I
genotyping,
see.
housekeeping. And so its way that it would default, I think was an alphabetical order or maybe release order. I'm not sure. But like ping literally wouldn't show up. And then there was other cards, like if you searched op, good luck, it didn't show up. And if you searched lat, no chance. This also was in the deck builder. If you search those names, it also wouldn't come up because it only auto completes the top 5 suggestions. And so this is something I mentioned on the stream, I think it was a week ago. And I think I had the GitHub up. Did I close the GitHub? Shit. But I think Rohit went in and changed that. So now NetRunnerDB searches based off of prefix. It tries to autocomplete the prefix, or like it seems to favor the front part of a word so that it searches in a way that I think is more human. And it's awesome. It's such a nice change. So like things like ping and lat and ob, all that works, which is a huge quality of life improvement. Huge shout out to Rohit. Again, the GitHub, I think anybody can push their stuff to NetRunnerDB if you want to see a change, and obviously people improve it, but that's so cool. Related to that, also the change happened where now if you used to search bank job, it would show you like 4 different entries for every time bank job was released in a format. Now it just shows you the most modern version, which is also like a really nice quality of life improvement. But yeah, sick work to Rohit and all the folks working on NetRunnerDB. That's a nice quality of life improvement, and it just happened within the week.
So I was just testing this on my end. I do want to point something out. If you type in tau and make a typo, it does not bring up tau. So the bug is within me, and if someone can come and give me an update, maybe push something on PatHub, and I'll approve it just to make sure that I'm able to spell words correctly. That would be helpful.
There used to be other ones like that where if you couldn't search the S circumflex accent on cipher, it wouldn't show you cipher, and that also was fixed, but that was a long time ago. But that's such a nice change. It's with the search terms here make way more sense. Yeah, props to NetRunnerDB devs. It's great. Okay, cool. I have a rules question.
Okay.
I always target my rules questions at Jeff. Jeff, if you're here, I have a rules question. If you're using ops ability, which is very easily to be searched, can you trash any ice on a server if you're installing ice with the op ability? So you use op.
As in, does the op install allow you to trash
other ice?
Cards?
Yes. Just because when you spend the action to install ice on a server, you can trash any other ice on the server. So everyone says, well, everyone so far, Silent Core says yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Silent Core, who has usurped Sangren, says yes.
Okay. So the idea is that is a legal install, and anytime that you install ice on a server, you're allowed to trash any other pieces of ice on that server, resed or unresed. So you could go from a server for like 9 ice, you can use op and go to a server of 1 ice in theory. Okay, so alternately, if you had something like Brand 1.0, you could also do the same thing. Brand has a subroutine that allows you to install a piece of ice directly inward from this ice, so that means you could trash everything. Jeff is saying yes, but you don't move the runner around in ways that help you. Okay, that makes sense. For what it's worth, I don't understand how it works entirely, because say somebody runs into the Bran, you use it to install the ice behind the Bran, trashing the Bran itself, and then something behind that. Where do you go? I guess you'd go on the thing that was immediately behind the Bran. That's my guess. Okay, so the question is, some of the upgrades in startup, let alone standard, can be pretty mean. We have ZATO City Grid, and ZATO City Grid gives you the ability to use your op ability whenever you want. Obviously, this is a region, and that's going to be a problem. We'll run into that. But the idea is that you can trash a resed card to force, to force any amount of ice on and off the server. The big reason why I wanted to do this is I was thinking about NetCivic Grid. Who posted this list? Is it Doomrat? Doomrat posted this really mean PE assets deck, which is like, the sort of deck that you reckon at some point should exist in the game when you saw things like, Keeling, Bladderwort, Reaper Function, the sort of deck that spams assets, and if you don't run enough or the right ones, it ends you. And I think that's really cool. One thing, though, that this deck doesn't do that I'm actually like kind of been like really excited about that I realize you can do is that you could just run NetCivic Grid in this sort of deck and install it as a trap, right? Because the idea is if you have Moonpool also on the table at instant speed, you can always Moonpool to trash ice from your hand. So it goes face down into archives. And then when they run to the NetCivic Grid, you res the NetCivic Grid. So as long as you're playing ice that has mean enough subroutines, like say core damage or more likely like a Bathynomus, you can just give the runner damage. Yeah. Which means if we play op, we can make a super convoluted deck in which we use our op trigger to trash uninstalled ice on the remote server or any server they're running with this thing. And then the ice, when we install an ice with the op ability, we trash unresed ice. So the unresed ice goes into archives so that we guaranteed to have a NetCivic Grid fire later on. That's the idea, right? So we have some really weird combos where like we can fire, like, I don't know, say a Stavka or something. We can go fire the Stavka so we can go get an anemone, install the anemone, trash a card from hand with the anemone. So this will do 2 net damage already during the run. Then we can either trash the ice in our hand with the anemone to the bin, and so then our Nana Civic on the server works, or we can have trashed the face down Bathynomus that's already on the server when we install the anemone, and that's kind of what we do. So we have this like ridiculous kill damage. We're basically going to be importing all the Jinteki cards into op and making something really bad and probably figuring out it's better than the Jinteki deck. You also have access to half run, which is just kind of cool because if they run into, so half run is like so flexible in op because if they run into like a rezzed Bathynomus, you can just like trash something like at instant speed, like trash a Mavirus to get a half run rezzed, and then they can't break the Bathynomus. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff you can do there. Hey, right. Yeah, that was me. Happy you find it useful. The Netrunner team was super responsive to my questions and they rolled the change out really fast. Yo, huge shout out. That's really, really sick. Has to be Stavka Anvil BC because you can't double region. Yeah, that's a big issue is that you can't obviously have Zato and Nana Civic in the same server. So I'm not sure what amount of each we're going to play to figure out what works. But it's cool that we have 2 ways to attack the runner with net damage, either through the Zato by guaranteeing it or the Nana Civic. And you can install, like you can use the Zato to trash an ice to get a Nana Civic on the server, right?
So so you trash an ice that would fetch you the Nana Civic, which would replace the Zato.
Yes, but you use the Zato to trash the ice.
Yes, but then, and is the time? Oh man, how's the timing going to work on that? That is the right timing that can still force the runner to be a successful run, and thus the Nana Civic.
No, they can always jack out. They can always jack out, right?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's a very cool combo that the runner can say no to.
Yeah. No, it's cool to see what it does. Julian says that everyone's playing 3x Pinhole, 3x Zato, and 3x Nana seems fair. Yo, you start the Cold War, we end the Cold War. Okay. All right, so we're going to do this. We're playing in startup right now because every single piece that individually we're talking about are in startup, barring border control. But border control is the one that actually ends the run, which is kind of not what we want. So we're going to see how much influence we end up spending on this nonsense. So who knows how it's going to go.
Is this combo supposed to kill the runner or quiz the judges?
A mix of both. Hopefully you just get a judge call. That's all you want. That's a success if you get it.
I like Thanos's name suggestion, which is Cabo.
Capo.
CO parentheses MBO.
Not if you whirlpool them. Yeah, I wish. None of that stuff exists anymore, but like the sort of thing would love that
But
sort of
it should.
labyrinthine servers. Yo, last stream, I built a deck with my camera here and we did it for like a really long time and nobody said anything. And I'm upset at both of us equally, okay? Not you, Pat, everyone else besides you, Pat. You're fine. Okay, let's go.
No, I'm great. I can't even see where your face is.
Okay. Upgrades. So how much is Nani? It's only 2, right? Okay.
2 influence, huh?
Okay.
Good to know.
So
I forgot.
assuming that we can get this at instant speed, we don't need to play that many of them. But obviously this combo is not gonna be great, but we're gonna try it. Otherwise we want some amount of Zatos. Let's just play 2. Let's call it a day. Then what are the pieces we need? We need Bathynomuses. I feel like these are more influences. Oh my god, they're 3 influence.
You only need 1. It only has to happen once.
An anemone is once. We only need
and
1.
We're up. We're up. So like
perfect.
Yeah,
okay.
There we go. Perfect influence.
Okay, so we have to spend no more influence in startup, which is maybe potentially difficult. But
3 Stavka, 3 Anvil.
yeah. The Anvil is also a nice way to like consistently be able to install stuff mid-run. Okay. So we want to go fast. We want to jam in the remote server. And then ideally we end up killing them with net damage. So the way that we can hurt them and actually win the game if they end up taking like a Bathynomus worth of damage is that we can get them with, what's it called? With IZF protocol, right? Because if they end up with 1 card in hand, we potentially have lethal. I feel like also to some extent you could do something like, I know I published, I forget what I called the deck, but an op deck in standard that was also pulling out Reaper functions on the last click, and you have an extra reach. I think that would cost us some of our Bathynomus influence, which is actually probably fair. I don't know if we need all of them. We can save the influence by cutting spin doctors.
Yeah. Yeah, probably 3 Zato for sure.
Just for Julian, yeah. Okay. So we have 3 SZF. What else are we playing? I reckon we don't care that much about bad pub if we're just trying to win in unfair ways. So we probably want to play 2 hostiles. That's probably good. Oaktown is...
Hell, if we encourage them to run, then that's all the better for us.
Yeah. A wave instead of the second Bathy and get 2 influence back, probably not great. Oh, Izzy, it's interesting. Maybe if the res cost structure makes sense. The 2 cost slot is actually kind of rough sometimes in op, so that's honestly not the worst idea. I kind of like it. Oh, we also not playing half
Yep.
run. I feel like we need a half run. Like we need to do the whole package, right? Like this
And now we
seems
have
super important.
one influence that can be our wave, or
It's wave 1, yeah.
I'm not sure what else.
Yeah, we can maybe do that. That's pretty wild. Okay.
That's pretty strange.
What else we got? So we still need some agenda points. We can play off-world office pretty easily. Obviously, Alice is nice because it allows us to grab at instant speed. We can also use that to discard cards at the end of our turn. So that seems like an agenda suite somebody would play.
Yeah, that actually seems pretty good.
Okay. The other thing we could,
Fun use of a token.
the only thing else that we could consider doing instead of wave is also playing Mavirus, which allows us to get Zato at instant speed and allows us to get half run at instant speed, which is pretty good. That might
That
be
is pretty
better than the
cool.
wave, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Right? Because at instant speed, we can trash this. It also does the damage if we ever don't, fire it. But it can allow us to find a 2-cost at instant speed, which means we can just half run them into any nonsense, which is pretty good. So Nanocivic on 2 is really good. Zato is 3. So Nanocivic we can get at instant speed, which is actually a really cool combo because yeah, that actually works. It also, in theory, Mavirus, as long as you have a Spin Doctor later, is a defensive upgrade because you can use the Mavirus to install a region or an upgrade into the server, trashing the agenda that's in there if you really want to. Oh, 1 Alice for above the law. Yeah, for sure. Excuse me. Nice call.
Econ, I guess, just pretty standard stuff.
Yeah. So we have the hedge funds. Regolith is good because it trashes and it gets, hopefully something. You're definitely going to play Extract. I'm not sure if we want to Spheda Gore list because there's nothing that we want to get on the table. Like we don't have fast advance. And I feel like we're going to tax out our other stuff other ways. Let's get some ites in here. So Anvil, I don't know if we play 3 of them. We definitely play 2, right?
Yeah. And it's a 4-cost that can be trashed to get a Zato.
Yeah. Makes this list almost playable. It totally is almost playable. It might be like not the best thing you can do, but it's probably going to be fun. Okay, Ice Wall's good.
Ice Walls.
Envelopment, yeah, it's a bit rich. We can do it. Whoredom is good enough. How much ice are we expecting to play? 4, 8, 12. We're at 13. I think we want a bit more.
Yeah, we can afford to.
So we can only play neutral or anything else.
And we want to be wary of our costs.
So that's the thing. It's
we're mostly looking at like 3 and 4 and maybe 1.
For those who don't understand how power half run is abstractly in this format, so the idea, the Stavka half run combo, which is I think pretty popular in startup, when you res Stavka, you may trash one of your installed cards to give it 7 strength. So on its own, 7 strength sentry with 2 subroutines that trash programs is really strong. The power of killers has kind of decreased immensely with rotation because Bagulter is left. So each faction has a way of dealing with sentries, but none of them are very good. The best way to deal with Stavka modernly on 7 strength is endurance. But when you res the Stavka, as long as you trash a 3-coster, you can go get a half run. Half run's a 2-coster, and then it gets res during a run on the server as long as you put it there. And so then you can say, hey, you can't use your killer or you can't use your endurance. But the cool thing is you can actually use this flexibly, right? Like if they run into an archer, you could, in theory, fire your Mavirus during approach and also get a half run res. So then the archer connects. So I feel like having that is pretty good. I know some people are actually like unironically playing Ballista, and it makes sense with the Zato list. It gives you flexibility. It's a 5 into a 4, which is fine too, as much as this is your upper end. So maybe we can play one of those. I don't know if we have to play archer.
It is like it feels better with the Nanicivic actually because it's a bit more, it's flexible without having to pay 5.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We can just discard it and it'll be okay. And that's like a really big thing is if we have an Nanicivic, like we can install and trash stuff. The question is how often can we fire an op ability? I think we do need 3 Anvil because it's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah. Thanos makes a good point. The better deck title is Rube Gottberg. Gonna have to go to my highlights magazine and find some of those.
How are
you ever played the Incredible Machine?
Yeah, all the time. Loved it.
Oh yeah, me too. Love that game.
I had it. You could used to. I learned this as a kid. You could take the CD it was on, and you could put it into a CD player, and it would play the soundtrack. And
cool.
As a young kid, I wasn't really exposed to a lot of music. It was just like the Beatles. And so once I found that out, I was so excited. And there was a day in school where you could bring in like a CD and play it for the class. And I was so excited to bring in the Incredible Machine soundtrack, which was actually labeled the Unsettable Machine soundtrack because my older brother labeled it, and he was never very good at spelling when he was a kid. But I don't think anyone liked that soundtrack
your older brother
as much as I did. Okay, what are we missing? I think we're missing economy. Is there any like staple and neutral Wayland that we're missing from the format?
Is this rich enough for like government
subsidy? I'd be super surprised. I think Extract is just such a good card though.
Yeah, Extraction's gonna do a lot of work. We don't have the money. We
Oh,
don't have the influence for any campaign.
our guy, Yakov.
Oh, of course, yeah, he'll be fun.
Regolith is good with Extract. Yeah, we're on 3 Regolith. It's really good. Yakov is actually really, really quite good as well. I'm still a huge fan of the TEMEM soundtrack. What is the TEMEM?
EEMI. Well, let me see if I can work this out.
So,
It's the Incredible Machine. Impossible something.
Can we play more ice? I don't think we need to.
Like
5,
I
10,
definitely had
15,
a few
16.
different.
I also play Incredible Machine somehow makes sense for future Netrunner players. Yeah, right? Especially when you're building a deck like this, right? It's really
Yeah, I bet there's like there's a Venn diagram of Incredible Machine players and Netrunner players. Oh, Thanos has put a link. Oh, sorry, Bounty Hunter Sacks put a link in the chat. I'm going to open it, and I'm not going to pay any more attention
That's not a
to
link. That's the
Andre's.
name of the exe file.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I think we just play that. Maybe we play 2 copies of what's it called? The man, maybe Yakov is a 3 of is like just good enough. It makes our server scary. Again, playing Managar and stuff like that would be fine. Here we could probably just play another ice. Again, if we're assuming our ice just gets trashed and it's good, we can maybe play an archer. Cool thing about archer too is like it just kind of works with Zato, right? Well, no, it has to be res, but it works with Nanocivic. The Venn diagram is so close to a circle. The Incredible Machine. Let's go. All right. I feel like we have some legs against Matryoshka as much as we're not, you know, exactly a rig shooting deck. Bless you. That's all right.
Tell Nanako I say bless you.
Where is Nanako actually? New corp deck. Here we go.
When I'm not in the room, there's no reason for Nanako to be in the room. Nanako has nothing to climb like a mountain.
She does do that to guests, and I think it might be a dominance thing. I wouldn't take it personally. Okay.
I've had cats do worse things as ways of establishing dominance.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Yeah. Let's pee on me.
Okay.
I hope no one clips that.
We have 17 ice. So we have to be thinking about the combos at every angle, right? Like winning the game is jamming out in the remote server, whatever. For what it's worth, like playing maybe a Chrysium grid makes sense. It's like a fine extract target. You can play it. Because a lot of times when people see the nonsense remote server, just like us, are poor Matryoshka players, we just try and win off of R&D. So we have to keep that in mind. Is that a lot of times we'll lose off centrals sooner than we'll lose off nonsense remote server. Not that we can't like put our nonsense server on R&D.
Oh, Temim is the even more incredible machine.
Oh, that's like a sequel?
Yeah, I guess that was the first follow-up. I think that might have been one of the ones I had for sure. That might have been for sure. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know I had the original one. It was really cool. I know they remade them like in the last decade too, like a modern version, but I don't know, man.
Yes, there's a spiritual sequel called Contraption Maker on Steam that I'm going to go wishlist right now.
And an MTG Johnny combo player with roots back in custom Load Runner maps. I only played the Load Runner demo because that's all I had access to. How hard is it to find a startup game at this time of night? We'll find out. You spend so much time playing the Incredible Machine? Hell yeah. It's really fun.
Oh, wow. That's going to take me back.
Contraption Maker. Yeah, I actually had some puzzles for those on my channel. God knows how long ago.
Cool.
Oh, for real?
That's great.
Yeah, I wonder what the communities of that are like. Like Steam Workshop type communities are generally pretty great.
There are, there's so many games out there that like I never even knew the names of because my father would come home from a business trip and hand me like a CD that just had like 25 ROMs on it. It's like, hey, I got you some new video games. Like, yeah, I'll take anything. So I remember like Dr. Riptide was one of them. And there's a game where you played as like a gradually deflating ball as you moved through like a maze.
I don't know what that is. What was the one where you played like the little green gremlin and it was all about like getting screwdrivers and hammers and like pulling the nails out of a thing while you're moving around and there's like aliens that would like chase after you? Someone's gonna know it. This is 100%. I played so much of that. Matchbugger is low-key
Metropole Grid is low-key a game suggestion channel that plays in the background, and Core says low-key.
I don't think we take this. This doesn't seem great. Like we can hostile here.
No, this doesn't. I guess the hostile is okay, but I don't know.
Nah. That's not better.
It's not better.
Okay, so this is Kit. Kit can be pretty aggressive. Kit says that the first ice they encounter each each turn for the whole run, or only for the remainder of the run, is a code gate. So you generally want to put your code gates on the outside. That's ugly for us who wants to, stuff got all over the place. So here, like, it's really hard to jam behind an Oaktown. In startup, the question is like, what is their decoder? I think Diogen just posted a list that was probably heavy buzzsaw, and for that reason, like Horton's pretty okay. But like as soon as they get up a big old whatever study guide is hyperbaric, like they're in an okay spot. Now we can Nano Civic. It's really funny here. Like sometimes the play is like install ice, over install ice, put Nano Civic in it, right? Right?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that sick?
Yeah.
Isn't that sick?
I think it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine.
Like, how weird of a play is
That's
that?
actually pretty cool.
It's such a weird play. Maybe they'll buy it.
The TLDR for the brew is we're doing weird stuff with Nanocivic and op triggers. Like the idea is like if you trigger op, you can trash a bunch of already installed ice face down, and then Nanocivic has a lot of options.
Yeah, it's definitely not optimal, but the idea is that using op mid run, we can charge an Nanocivic. This play is like sus as heck. Because they can always just flip archives. That's like a really important thing too. We have to remember that we have to protect archives. So this play is like kind of bad, but I don't think it's something you'd expect. Because here we can like jam out the Oaktown, and so they have to check archives before running the server because they have to get through the Hortum, and even if they steal the Oaktown, they probably will end up losing their thing. They have a boat though in hand. There's no way you throw out a boat without a boat. That's the most telegraphed grid. Yeah, but like, what are you gonna do? Play around it? Run archives? So we need another ice here just to deal with boat. That's for sure. So obviously not great play, but I wanted to see if they ran it. Okay, well, solved all our issues. That's the thing. There's like no reason for that play to be good. If we installed in the remote server and over installed it, sometimes it looks like we're like spin doctor fixing 50-50. We win these all the time. Never mind. But this is going to be fast and lose. Click to discard a card. Exactly. Sometimes you take those. Okay, we need an agenda. We need an agenda. We'll take a regolith.
Yeah.
So they've been running once per turn. Makes sense. HQ's open. Here they'll probably hit R&D because if we had an agenda, it would go into server 1. So I don't think an HQ run makes sense. But at this point, like rigging up their boat would be pretty good for them. We have nothing to hit. Why do we set up so early? Because we wanted to push out the Oaktown if it survived. And assuming if they charge remote server, they're going to have a breaker. Otherwise, we just res the Hortum, right? Yeah, there's the boat.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a problem. Now, admittedly, there are some subroutines you can Nanocivic that would be good. Like here,
no trash hardware subroutines these days. Well, no, I guess on sale, but
so whoa. Okay, money is going to be a limiting factor here. But
yes,
in theory,
what can the anvil do here? Trash a bad telework.
Yeah, we can trash a bad telework. I think they both threw this though. I think they both threw this. If we used all their endurance counters on here, we're not going to trash this because there's nothing rezzed. Yeah, this is a really ugly board state.
I'm really disappointed chat isn't coming up with the name of the game where you played a gremlin that unscrews things.
Yes, you were an alien and you moved around and like you were hopping on a screwdriver, and it was not. It was a game more than one person played. All right, they're considering this, right? They could always trash their telework. If this is an what's it called? We actually have less than 5 credits, so it can't be an envelopment.
What's it, Gubble?
It is Gubble, yes. 100% Gubble.
That was on the PlayStation.
I played on PC. Oh, sorry. Do you want me to? Oh, do you want to boat it? I'm not. Oh, I see. I'm good. Yeah, we're not going to trash something to it. It's not worth it. If we had res cards, we'd consider it, but op only triggers on res cards. So they're going to boat through this. So if we go through this, we go down to 0 credits. It uses half of their boats. Again, here, getting the Nanocivic grid is going to kind of reveal our hand. Good thing here is they can't break both of these or trash both of these. They only have 5 credits. So showing the Stavka here is unfortunately not good. But then they'll go flip archives. So we don't want to go down to 0. In startup, how can you sink a ship with a subroutine? I think it has to be on cell 1.0, right?
Yeah, because that's the only one that can trash any runner card.
Yeah, I think that's the only subroutine. Okay, so how do we get out of this mess? Oh, we need to draw. We need to click for credit. Open ChatGPT to search for it. Will it find you? I'm only discovering like modernly how powerful ChatGPT is.
It's scary.
It is frightening. So I think we could do this. Like, the cool thing is this protects everything else in the server. Yeah, until Ryan says, I think that's, yeah, the only one. So telework, no free lunch. That's fine. So here we need to ice up R&D again because we have, I think, 8 agendas and 35 cards. So it's getting to be a bit big. What do we do for our last click here? We have no real reason to play the hedge fund. I think we need to ice up R&D. This on the innermost is obviously not good, but eventually as ZATO makes it relevant.
It looks like ice, and that's what's important, right?
Yeah. The problem is if we don't res it when they charge it with their endurance, which they're pretty safe to do. Yeah, there you go. We forced, we taxed them out real quick. Yeah. So unfortunately though, if they ever run it, we don't res, they kind of know what it is. It either has to be an archer or a Stavka. Nothing else really makes sense. I could be alive and leveraging the hell out of ChatGPT for a lot of my programming hobbyist projects and such great learning development tool. Yeah, the fact that it can just code for you is kind of wild.
Now, can someone use ChatGPT to find the game I was talking about where you play a slowly deflating ball that traverses mazes?
This is our 6th setup, right? Nana Civic with Anemone in front of it, just like Jinteki intended.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Because, yeah, we can trash the archer
yeah,
and end the run. I probably.
Like, this is getting harder, but again, I think they're just going to put down a conduit or however they have to win the game.
That was a demo. That is a very appropriate name for telling me you know the game I'm talking about, because I definitely had like it on a, a CD of 25 half games.
So here we can get a 1-coster. So if we go get an ice wall and put it here on server when we're in an okay spot. Also, they installed their buzzsaw. So if we get this to 7 strength Stavka, like they're not going to buzzsaw through it. So I think we actually get the ice wall on R&D here, right? And I think we want to do that first because we don't want to draw into the ice wall. So we'll res the Yakov, I reckon. It's just free. It kind of gives some information, but we'll get value from it. So we'll get the Yakov credits. We'll get a 1-coster, put an ice wall in R&D. It's our only 1-coster in the list, but it's relatively good enough. Buzzsaw now breaks for 1 credit. And we can draw once for an agenda and put it in server 1. Okay, we got some plays here. We actually have some legitimate plays here because we can even like Nana Civic for the end of the run Hortum with the Anemone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're playing around like
everything.
End of the line.
They're playing around everything.
So, yeah. Okay.
Admittedly, we lose to Stone Chip. Like we can't do our cool thing to Stone Chip, but who can, you know?
Oh yeah, true. We can't do the Bithynimus, but
we still have like Nana Civic to end the run, like make her own ZATO. Simi had a weird backstory where the developer was abducted by aliens and given of all things a DOS game. Otherwise, it was a different game where he played as a slowly deflating ball.
Assuming it had a weird backstory where the developer was abducted by aliens and given of all things a DOS game. Why would there ever be 2 games where you play a slowly deflating ball? But I don't remember that aspect of it, but maybe because I had like a super tiny demo version of it.
So here they have to respect Stavka into half run. Unfortunately, we like very specifically don't have Stavka into half run. But that's where like you blank the endurance, and if it's a Stavka here, we take down these 2. So that's obviously not good. But we have it here, right? So where's our half run? Still in the deck? So as long as we have a res 3-coster, that's all we need. So like getting the ZATO and R&D is probably sick, and then we can just install hit. I think we're actually like at a good spot. Like these servers are actually like really difficult to run, obviously until they pinhole us, but this is a remote server only. Oh my God. Do we ever just put this in a naked remote server? So we have
ZATO's remote server only.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That makes sense.
So do we ever put this in like server 2 just so that we have a 3-coster that we can trash the Stavka? Because if we don't have a 3-coster, we can't do Stavka half run. Hortum R&D, it's like okay. It's not bad. You're right. Yeah, that's actually fine. Yeah, we just need to find another 3-coster, and I don't know if our list has enough. I think it's I don't think we have enough 3-cost ice in the deck. Oh. They have all their breakers.
Oh, shit.
Whoa, wait. Hold on. We definitely have kickflips here. Wait, they just die. They just die.
Oh my God, they just die because it's an enemy.
We just win.
Yeah. No. Okay, unless.
No, we just win. GG. GG.
Can't they?
GG. No, there's no paid-ability window.
All right.
We did it. Uh,
We
no joke.
did it?
If that
Question
wasn't
mark?
there, we had. GG. I think we had a wild run there. Like I'm
Mhm.
trying to figure out what was possible. Okay, so imagine it wasn't that, which obviously like that's so much skill on our side for that. But so say that was any three coster, right? So they get through this anemone, they get through the anvil. Using the anvil, we would have to trash something. What was in the remote server? Asyaf. So like basically what can we do to like kickflip so hard that we trash their stuff? So we have to use the anvil to get something into the bin. So like we use the anvil to trash an ice wall. So we have no zero cost ice. Wait, actually this is hard. So we have to use the anvil to trash the anemone. Do we have two cost ice?
Well, we have the half run.
Yeah. I don't see how that helps us though. No. We're like close to having like a real nightmare server.
Yeah, somehow. I mean, we might actually have it, but it's possible we just don't see it. Like we have so many tools available to us.
Yeah, so we're going to trash our ice. That's
Hmm.
totally true. Like we need to trash this Stavka. But the thing is like we also need to go get well the Nanocific would be good. So like in theory all we have to do is we have to trash the we have to install an ice here because we need to trash the Stavka. Hey, cheers. Cheers you too. You can trash your face down ice when you install. Yeah, the thing is like I don't know if we have a two cost ice in the list. Like we might actually have blind spots in our ice distribution because we have to trash a two cost or we can trash a different ice. You can't trash itself, right? Other installed cards, yeah. So we'd have to trash the Yakov to get an ice wall in R&D. When we install the ice wall in R&D, we have to trash the Stavka so it's face down. And so if they continue the run, we could potentially nanocivic them to trash one breaker. Is that good? No. No, it's not. Wait, they encounter the ice or one subroutine? One subroutine.
You can trash your face on ice when you install the half run.
We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere.
Ixran, it is not the incredible shrinking sphere. Just to nip that in the bud. That one looks like it has more isometric angle. Like the game I'm talking about was just a top down. You're a ball, and when you move, you shrink.
Kind of like, I don't know. It has got that description has great Glover energy, but I know it's not. It's not Glover.
Yeah. That I could say like that's on my dating profile. I don't know.
Glover was like a game that from library borrowed gaming magazines. Because we didn't have like game consoles growing up. We just did like PC gaming because it was like the more, my parents didn't like video games that much growing up. Glover always looked like the most fun thing that I was never getting to try. And then I played Glover when I was older.
Uh-oh.
Not very good, is it?
No, I can't imagine.
You would have just been the archer with the anemone turn on Nani if it didn't kill. Yeah, Lucas, we could have just thrown out a card from hand. We could have thrown out the archer. Again, we threw it just some nonsense there. And if that was the case, we can feed the archer. The thing is like the archer either ends the run, which like is okay, but the archer trashing a program is like probably okay. But I think we have to tax their non-decoders because they're very likely running more than one decoder, but probably not running more than one fractor.
Yeah. Is the deflating ball game a Tom Brady reference? Even I, a non-sports person, understand that there's a deflate gate thing. So I'm gonna say yes. It is a really ahead of its time Tom Brady reference.
Wayland doesn't have three cost dice, right? Because that's a big hole in our plan is we don't have three cost
You're
dice.
forgetting about the best dice from Midnight Sun that you refuse to acknowledge.
Oh shit, no, you're right. That's actually sick. We need that.
Mm-hmm.
We 100% need that ice. So yeah, we'll drop 2 Whoredoms and then play 2 Maskarovkas. Maskarovka is fine now that Akat rotated in startup. What is... How many code gates do we have in the list now? I think we have none. So
yeah, half run doesn't count, I guess.
Yeah.
Did we drop the Horton? Yeah,
so we'll just put 1 4 in. Again, I think we have to look at our cost curve to make sure it makes sense. It's like one of the biggest things in startup. Or sorry, in op. Yeah. And startup you have way limited options.
Now I'm thinking of another game. I feel like I never really got into the auto chess craze, But I definitely played a game in the '90s that was kind of an auto chess. I think it was called Gearheads, where your army was like toys that you had to wind up individually and send them just across the field, and they just went and did this automated little process, and they had different abilities. Uh, you just had like three rows that you put your toys on, and one of the toys was like a bulldozer that pushed other toys back, and one toy was like a bomb.
It's so cool that that is like very clearly way ahead of its time for how
Yeah.
successful it probably was.
Hmm.
Can we find influence to put it in on sell? I think we definitely could, but it would like put us farther away from our nanocivic like kind of flatline nonsense. But I think there's a chance that with Zato, you probably do want to. I do think it's a big boat sinker. 6 is a bit of a stinker though. There's like no good way to pull a 6 out of your deck.
Hmm.
At least if you trash it, you get a 5, but generally don't want to. Glad I'm not the only one who thought this sounds like the opposite of Katamari, reverse Katamari, where you like refuel capitalism. Isla, cool.
Oh, that's neat. I wonder what her plan is.
You don't see a lot of Isla.
Combo-tastic.
Yeah. So Isla, 45 deck, but largely is like nearly a 40 deck, considering at the start of the game, you look at 6 cards and you can put 4 of them face down. You can always click to draw them. There's no other way to interact with them but click to draw them. And click to draw them is like always to me is a really weird feeling because you're spending a click to get a card, but it kind of makes all those cards, like 2 clicks to do what they want. Now you might be thinking you have to click through your deck anyways, and that's true, but like clicking through your deck actually gets you through everything else in your deck, and that always feels a lot better. Maybe there's a bit of a fallacy in that. But currently in startup, without SMC, I think Isla becomes a bit more interesting because finding your breakers when you need them is slightly less consistent. And I think there's like some interesting cards. I think events, like tutoring events, if you ever need to do that, Isla is actually kind of very interesting. Like she maybe plays Matryoshka fine. Maybe she plays Reprise really well. I've not played Isla in years. Probably World Tree. Oh yeah, World Tree is actually like a really good one for that. And I think I've seen Isla startup lists with World Tree. I think Gelahar was saying also in chat earlier that World Tree is really cool in startup. So I'm actually going to bet money that Gelahar is playing World Tree, which is like something that I think we have an okay leg against. Okay. It kind of sort of clicked to tutor law, but yeah, it feels weird. Yeah, it feels weird. It doesn't feel like the best tempo. I don't know. It's strange. Hey. Thanks, you too. So yeah, I guess World Tree. That means we definitely want to ice up everything. We have a Zato into Bathodamus, which is like kind of the cheesy dream. So I think we will respect the cheesy dream and keep this.
Yeah, I think this is solid.
Can I let Mulligan the set aside cards? Nah, you only get 1 shot and you do it before you do your hand. So I think that's technically in some ways the best way, in some ways the worst way it works, because those are the cards that weren't going to be in your opening hands, but also you don't know what your opening hand looks like. Okay. Okay, so we can do this because that's like fun, and then we could ice up a central, I guess. Because they just die to this, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess they could, in some circumstances, just die to it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, it seems fine.
And so then we can ice up a central again. We're probably not going to end up resing this, but it makes them actually, I don't know. I think we might just want to play the hedge fund here. Again, there's 2 trash ones at HQ. Sure
if we have the chance to kill them, we should try it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't think they're going to get a breaker down. If anything, they might face check into this. So I don't even know if we need these Zato, but it's cool.
I can't. Is Yakov 2 or 0 to res?
2.
I can't remember.
All the numbers on Yakov are 2s. Diogene, happy about Isla. Yeah, I'm excited to see what Isla can do because I do want to see what Isla looks like.
I don't think Isla can mulligan. Yeah, they're separate from the mulligan, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's before you do any draw stuff. Look at 6. Now, some people can look at Isla and just be like, oh, look at the top 6, and then just remove 4 from the game, right? Like, if you never do that, it's kind of like having, fewer cards. Don't hit our Spin Doctor. Oh, best hit. Yeah, and that's fine. It's technically the smallest deck in startup. That being said, like, there are 40 cards runners in startup, so you can do something similar to that. It's also not very good with deep dive because you kind of have to plan it. Okay, so we want to get Spin Doctor in here eventually. We definitely want to ice up R&D because that's where every single agenda of the game is. This is our best face check. So I think we want to do that. And then I think we just do Spin Doctor Yakov and just hold a single card. And then anything we top deck, we just jam into there. This might encourage them to run the server. That'd be cool.
That's kind of fine.
That's kind of okay, I guess.
Because if they don't have a breaker right now, then that's 3 net damage. That's fine. If they do have a breaker, then maybe that's a kill.
It's a 41 card deck. It's not the smallest. No, it's definitely not the smallest, but like you can remove your worst cards for the matchup if you're lucky. So yeah, there you go. World Tree from hand too. So they're gonna sell the telework, make a successful run. So if we just ice up everything, they might flounder, and I think we're gonna do that with the Spin Doctor. So here, let's see what they get. I'm interested to see what you can do for World Tree in startup. I haven't looked at it. It's probably pretty fun. You're definitely limited with options. You don't have Reaver, which is like a huge part of the value proposition, but still probably pretty good. You don't have daily cast.
Not a lot of ways to trigger off of trashes.
No, but
it has to be the same type, which I think is maybe different from a version I saw earlier. But okay, that's value.
I think the big thing, the big power play you have is just Mayfly. So we might just see just Mayfly.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's 2 influence as well. Let's keep track of that. Also, the cards that are in Isla don't work with World Tree, so that's also kind of interesting.
Huh.
All right, we might as well raise. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What?
Oh, well, we got all these agendas.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Let's draw once. Okay, that's good. That's really good. So
yeah, that'll be useful.
So I think we just ice up HQ, and we just ice up archives. Do we have enough money for all of this? No, but will they find out? Maybe.
They've got no way of knowing.
They have no way of knowing. Envelopments are priority res. Stavka hitting the World Tree, second priority res. This server, nonsense. Doesn't matter.
They'd be foolish to run this. They're not going to run this turn.
It's like so difficult because of Stavka and Ballista and all this sort of stuff that is pretty popular.
Yeah. Even Anvil right now, while they're on such a small rig, would be pretty frustrating.
They do have 17 credits, though. That's kind of what fuels the Mayfly. This sucks, though. I think we need. I think we need to draw a bit. Let's draw. Shit, we want to keep this in the deck. The other option is to go install Advance on Oaktown. They don't have a World Tree target. If they've got done a Mayfly, I think that's their thing. Is like get a Mayfly run with 16 credits. So if that's the case, we can just like Bothanima Zato them. Unfortunately, we'd have to use our Spin Doctor super unoptimally. At least it gets Yakov credits when we trash it.
The Spin Doctor?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Spin Doctor. No. Spin Doctor will not get you credits in any scenario unless the runner trashes it.
No, if we overinstall it, right?
No, because the Yakov, just like all the other.
No, it doesn't care.
Yes, it does. It says except during installation.
No, it doesn't. Oh, it does.
Okay.
It does.
No,
it does. It does. It
no,
does.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Gaslight's a yellow card. We're playing Wayland right now, so don't even try it. Wow.
It's never at the part of the sentence that you think it would be. Okay.
Hey.
So we got to think what we want to do here. The half run will stop the Mayfly, honestly. That's kind of sick. So I think we can draw once and just put the half run on server 1. They might half run to the envelopment. And if that's the case, or sorry, Mayfly to the envelopment, I think that's, come on. At least next turn we'll get like 10 credits because we'll be on 10 credits.
Yeah, we'll get value out of this.
Yeah, maybe. That's not good. We can always continue to draw and just get rid of Spin Doctor. Here's where we love money. We haven't drawn an Extract so far in any of the games, but the Yakov loves Extract. Extract loves Yakov.
That's what I've heard.
And we need to get 3 cost res. So even get just resing the Bothanimist means that we're, Stavka half run combo. As much as we're going to have to trash this half run, get it back in the deck and do the whole cycle. Ooh, that's an Isla card. It's the Mayfly.
There we go. Yep. That's cool. They've got the money to go in.
Okay.
Oh.
So this is interesting because this puts us on 4 credits. They're going to get into the depths no matter what. They will have a World Tree target if they install something from their deck with Into the Depths, which is really cool. But I think with all these agendas in hand, I don't think we res R&D.
No, not yet.
But that's neat. Like this pulls cards from your deck. It does what you want to do. Yo, Aspen, how's it going? Mayfly is the target? I would be surprised. I think they need that to break. I don't know what the actual rig is. Oh, shit. Well, that's fine. That's fine. We have all the agendas in here.
Actually, I was thinking that like so many agendas are in our hand that R&D's feeling pretty safe.
Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, they pulled that with the Mayfly. So that was 1 credit. This buzzsaw comes down. So that's actually scary because now they get through the Whoredom really well. Again, another piece of ice here will do it. Here, like, Now they can't face check because this could be a Stavka and that ruins their day. So it's a really risky to run with like 3 installed cards. Parhelion arrived and I started my collection today. Let's get it. Yo, I just picked mine up this weekend. Pat gave it to me and I haven't even opened it from the shrink wrap, but I need to get into the binders. Maybe tomorrow. This run I think is pretty wild.
Yeah, this is pretty risky.
This is a super risky run.
Yeah. I mean, it's not actually risky in this case, but
I don't know. Stavka would just like be game winning here. Maybe they could call that we didn't res it before. I don't think we would res it to just trash a Mayfly. That was going to get trashed on its own. All right, double Hordem. That's actually kind of expensive. It's 4 credits a pop to break each of them. So that's going to catch up to them. The problem is like economy is the issue. So we can do install, advance, and then res the Hordem eventually. Again, they're going to see a lot of cards on R&D. This is where they're like, our economy is actually an issue. That we
I think we really need to start getting agendas out, and the Oaktown is the one to do.
I think we just do this. Now they might be scared. Again, they did see the Hordem, so they actually maybe this is not great.
Mm-hmm.
This is stuff. Maybe they have test run on ID. Maybe they do. Yeah.
Test run's also a neat one with World Tree.
Yeah, is it? It's expensive. Like they don't like to play a lot of events in these decks.
Yeah, no matter what, test run is expensive. That's the problem.
But it's good. It deals with the Stavka blowout. It's like one of the only cards Shaper has that can bring back cards from the dead. Okay, so next turn we'll push out in this, and then maybe they have a Mayfly. Again, we have this combo, which will be more annoying than good. But the thing here is, with the half run, we can always blank. Against if it's a Mayfly, they just bounce a run back. Like that's the issue with half run, is that it doesn't really matter. All right, they're leaving us alone for a turn. Oh, they have Spark. That's sick. Okay, so it's unknown cards on RD. We'll just push this. Again, if they steal this... Oh, oops. Oh, except from installation. No, you're totally right. I remember that. You mentioned that a minute ago.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I don't pay attention to what I say either.
Yeah. Test run Fem for the biggest concerto you've ever seen. It's good, but then you draw the Fem. Like I wish you could install off the top. Yeah, no, it's nice. Or you just spark it, right?
More annoying than good sums up my process. People's reaction to my job interviews. You know what? That took me too long to get that out.
All right, so let's see. They can trade the pressure off. It's not at the cost of their economy because World Tree does still push them forward. Interesting. So they think we can call. They can also like pull a Mayfly and run the remote server. It's not woo, so they'll have to have it somewhere. Again, they can also just like spark. I wonder if they're spark and they're also just playing like giant stuff. So telework on 3.
Spark is a weird one because like some of what we know that some of what they're playing is just Mayfly. So that's devastating potentially.
No, but we can res this.
Yeah, true.
Get out. I can't believe on their Penny Shaper. That's so cool.
I guess they're just going for a successful run.
So cool. Oh, come on. Maybe we should have just fixed our hand.
We can install it. We're fine. Do
Do
we install that or the Azyaf?
I think we just get more money.
You think we just get more money?
I think we just get more money.
And we're trashing a ZATO?
Yeah. It's literally unplayable.
Yeah, Wentagon. This is startup. We're doing a Nenisovic op tricks kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 second.
I think it's Helios.
I remember a misspelling of the name of that game close enough to find Helios. That sounds so close to it.
I just said Isla's good at getting the card you make the deck around. Yeah, but like you can also just play a 40 card deck and just play some, good Shaper card draw. Like you got Nuka and Stonework. Like I think having an ID ability is better than a bit of consistency you get, especially because there's 40 card IDs in the format that aren't terrible.
I think it's Helios. Why is this on the Creepypasta wiki?
Oh no.
What? Oh god. Was I playing like a haunted game?
So here they also have to respect Stavka half run, which obviously we're not actually using, but they're scared of the upgrades. My argument is that you also know your next 4 draws. Yeah, but like the way that people build decks, a lot of it is to make sure that most decks are working in a way that knowing your next card is not as important as knowing on average where your deck draws into, right? Like again, having Padma's ability or Dao's ability is so valuable. What do we have face down in here? Nothing. How can we fix that? I like Islet for holding a deep dive when they're taking incidental damage from installing cyberware. Maybe that helps a bit, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I think generally you just play around it or you get lucky. I did mention the developer claimed it was, excuse me, given to him during an alien abduction. Oh man. Okay, hold on. So we have.
Wow.
What's it say?
This is sorry. Yeah, that was a demo. This is it. Thank you so much.
I think we just have to force as much
Christ.
money as we can because they're setting up with like their info bounty run based engine, which just looks really cool. At some point we're gonna have to purge, but again, I think with 6 points in hand. So we've gone through 19 cards. So you're assuming there's about 4 agendas in rotation, which is only slightly more than what we've drawn into.
Yeah, and that was a demo. I'm reading like the backstory that was included in like the README. Just wild for a game about essentially a ball that slowly deflates. Sorry, I'm focused on you, my friend Andre, and this game we love called Netrunner.
Is the Twitch stream down? Alec, I hope not. I don't think so. Is it?
Oh, is it because I tried to look up this
The creepypasta
creepypasta game and it's like destroying our
Twitch running fine. Alec, you might just need a refresh. It can happen. Not for me. It's not running fine. Wait, actually? Our outgoing stream seems perfect. So there'd be some issue outside of our hold. Wait, did we actually lose connection here too? Maybe. They're not moving for a bit.
You and I are
oh, it's not down. Okay, never mind. Cat, thank you. Okay. It does seem like there's a big lag on the restream bot though. Oh yeah, the restream bot actually dropped one of the chats. No, something is wrong. The restream bot seemed to have crashed, so I think that might be the problem.
Restream bot is still pretty current for me.
I don't know. Mine seems to say I'm only connected to one of the channels. Okay, so I have chat up here. The aliens got them. I'm gonna be able to read everything. It's just gonna, my eye contact will be a bit worse. There's a cleaver. They have all the breakers. They have a turbine, so they have Doom Rig, but that's okay. That's ideally why we have the Nanocivic into, oh my god, every single agenda. Oh no, please stop. Please send help. Please send help.
Yeah, score put down as F.
I don't know, man. Score. I think we need a trash programs to have a chance. Otherwise, they're gonna. They run R&D for 2 credits. We lose.
Yeah, but we've got the Bathinimus bullshit on. Wait, sorry. Do we have Zato or Nanicivic in this?
Oh yeah, Zato. You're right. We do have the bullshit. We should just go. Like, there's no agendas left in R&D, right?
Yeah, that is fair. They cannot win with Conduit.
Yeah. Okay. Nanocivic and R&D last click. Nanocivic and R&D doesn't really do much because we don't have anything in here. If we had like a Stavka, yeah, we would just Stavka them for sure. Oh, they're not running.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Just do some damage. This is totally fine.
This is totally fine. Now we can throw out the Stavka.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we using our ability for? I think it's the Yakov to get a 1-coster.
So we're trashing the Yakov?
Yeah, I think so.
We're not going to trash the envelopment?
Oh, dude.
Or like an anvil?
Yeah, but like, no, because this actually is relevant. Oh, you're right. The anvil's okay. The anvil's actually okay. But they break it for 1 and that attracts attention here. That being said, they break this for 1. Yeah, whatever. I don't know why they're not doing. You thinking what I'm thinking?
Always.
So we actually can top deck a hostile and win. So I think they have to tunnel R&D. And we'll throw this out so that we can maybe Nanocivic the rig. 1x Audacity? Oh, yeah, 3x. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. This seems questionable. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good. Our none of our like nonsense drew well. We drew like every single agenda. 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like we draw 6 agendas and 20 cards.
Yeah, absolutely wild.
You're meant to draw 4.
Random Bathinimus bullshit. Go.
Yeah, they died of Bathinimus. They died of like no, they don't die of enemy. Excuse me. I don't think we can res this.
Make sure we have the money.
Yeah,
to do the Bathinimus bullshit.
I don't think we can res this. Like Stealing hostile would be bad. HQ is really best place for gens right now. It's weird. They're scared of. Okay, that's fine. Are you serious?
Wow.
There's like no more agendas left in the deck. There's one Atlas,
Well,
one above the law, and then two pointers. They have to steal a lot of agendas here. Man, we flooded so hard. I don't feel bad about this. And now they see more cards, right? Because Conduit kind of cascades.
Yep.
Trash the Spin Doctor. Okay. Running last click, they would die to Snare. That's fine. They trashed the Nano Civic. Okay. Shit. They saw an enemy.
Huh.
Okay.
Install a 3/2. Put down the enemy as like a threat.
And then we put this on R&D 100% of the time.
I guess so, yeah. Oops, all agendas.
Money is going to be a problem. Like they need to just run archives at some point. I don't think we have a trick to like accelerate that. This, if we have enough money though, if they run their remote server, like potentially also they die, right? Like an enemy into a ZATO Hab Autonomous. Like this server seems super lethal. Like super lethal. How much money do we need for this? 3, 6, 9? Okay, how much does it cost to res Nano Civic? More than 9? Oh, but admittedly, Yakov might be able to do something.
Yakov will be able to do stuff, and Yakov is not just once per turn either.
Actually, I don't think Yakov does anything. But we get money off the Zato. If they run this first, time to light the fire. People should be running it.
I love light the fire.
People should be running it. It's okay. Yeah, you see they're respecting archives. I love this. So we don't have a 3-cost res, but in theory here, they could cost the game, right? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Imagine we still had our half run in the deck. So all we do is we res the Stavka, we trash the Zato, and then we go get the half run, and then they can't break us a Stavka, and we trash Conduit, and we trash their decoder, and we win. Like, this is what I mean. It's so ridiculous that this Stavka, the combo can come out of nowhere. The problem is, like, we drew our one half run. Obviously, a more consistent deck would play multiple half runs, but I don't think we're gonna res here for obvious reasons. We just have to hope R&D holds. Okay, so now the Nano Civic doesn't work unless we can at instant speed trash something, which if we had him a virus, we could do. But we have no 2-cost dice because it's only a half run. Can you just trigger the Stopka 7 there? Yeah, but they break it for like 4 credits, which is exactly what they had. And then if we have that, don't have that money, we can't do this. So I don't think it's worth it. You can res Zato, trash Zato for Nanny and put it on archives. You can res Zato, trash Zato for Nanny, put it on archives. I'm not sure I follow. All right, we just have to hope. If this whiffs, we win. We can't keep them out. They can't run server 1, so it's luck. They're gonna see a lot of cards though because they trashed and stole, so that's a lot of new cards. We didn't also shuffle. Like that's another thing is if we use the Stavka and trash something and used op, I think they end up seeing an extra at least 2 cards. Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
It's
don't
all
mind
coming
if we
up
do. I guess we can win.
That's the game.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Please stop.
Oh my god.
I need you to stop accessing agendas.
It's very funny.
Okay, we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
We're
They can't
We're fine.
access any more than that.
We're
I
fine.
mean, if they run HQ, that'd be very funny.
Not even close. Not even close. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like this Doom Rig just dies to Stavka half run, and like I think the best op list is how consistently can you deliver it. Just to be clear, that's 16 points. Yeah, I know. The only other agenda left in the deck is an Atlas and 2 Hostiles. There's 3 agendas in 20. We didn't fire up once this game. Not that they gave us good opportunities to do it, and not that we got a Regolith, which we would love to draw a Regolith. Zato's a 3-cost that lets you search for Nanny, but I don't actually think you have Nannies left in the deck. No, we don't have Nannies left in the deck. But we have to trash the Zato. So you're thinking, oh, like trash the Zato with the Stavka to get the Nani, but there was nothing face down in archives for the Nani to fire. Oh shit, no, actually you're kind of right. But then they just jack out. Oh, we still lose.
Yeah.
Dude, we still lose 1 out of 3 times.
No, 2 out of 3 times.
Oh, sorry, we win. We don't lose 2 out of 3 times.
This is why you always lose the Monty Hall problem.
Okay, so if we had a 1-coster res, we could go get a Spin Doctor. That would be the best thing we could do here. But we don't have a 1-coster res because we don't have anything resed here.
Yeah, that's too bad.
That's just too bad. Heart of the cards. The Mavirus pivots
The
them to
Mavirus,
HU. I know, it might actually
yeah,
cost
okay.
us.
That's very funny.
That's really, really funny.
Boy. But still, yeah, 18 of our like 21 points
Yeah.
are on the table, which means, yeah, Jesus Christ.
Damn.
Damn. Very funny.
Damn.
Wow.
Oh no. That was super unfortunate.
Yep.
So
That was
another like kind of like pain point I have with the Stavka Hafren combo is like one of the best ways to deal with it is to play endurance, right? And like I don't think we need more reasons to play endurance, but like the fact that they're choosing to play Penny Shaver instead of endurance, which probably isn't like strictly correct. Maybe they need the money because they want to run. Is
maybe they do have endurance, but Penny Shaver is like a cheap thing.
Yeah,
that
you're right. Maybe they have more than one.
use World Tree or...
Yeah, but yeah, there's no more agendas in here. Yeah, there's just the two
Cool.
hostels. Oh yeah, it's only two hostels, right? Because we're only on two Alices. I forgot about that because we're on Above the Law. Woof. Wow, that was not great. We're like a ball that didn't know we were deflating. Gailhard, that was fun. Good game. We drew every agenda in the deck besides the two hostels, man. The only one that if we had in our hand, we could have won with. We are the ones that we didn't draw. We flooded up so bad. We were actually like super happy that you were conduiting because the chance of you winning off of it was incredibly unlikely. But good game.
Well, you used World Tree more than we used up.
Oh, by a mile.
Yeah.
Oof. Diogenes Isla win? Yeah, sure. Imagine that was Padma though, right? And you have a boat that actually gets counters, right? I guess the breakers didn't have to matter, but I don't think Isla there did anything really useful. Like how many cards were pulled from Isla? One card? What was it?
Yeah.
We saw what it was, and it wasn't a card that was super necessary. I think it was a Mayfly. I don't know if that's worth a whole ID when you could like P-Tau and move stuff around or like do anything else. But again, I don't think losing a game makes anything good or bad. World Tree was important. Yes,
was World Tree the Ayla card?
No, it was just an opening hand. Okay, so just to pivot, obviously we've lost the plot with our... No, can we flatline someone? Like, I just want to see how consistent like we can do Stavka Hafren, because I think it's the best thing to pursue an op.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're doing the best thing, Dak. That's fine. We'll live with that fact. Cool. Record. That Mayfly draw is almost like. Fun fact, if you have 1 million power in Rise of Kingdom, you can... Holy shit. That is terrible. How do I destroy this? How do I destroy? Give me 1 second. Okay, bye. Oh man, we haven't talked about our Netrunner DB mystery. Do you want to pull that out?
Oh yeah. Let me find this.
Hold on. I don't think we should do it right now while we're waiting for the lobby, but
no, of course
there's something
not.
weird going on.
What we should do is the very last thing we talk about on the stream, and then we just cut suddenly and mysteriously.
Radio silence when we're onto them. Yeah. Mystery? Yeah, Thanos. I don't know. There's something strange on Netrunner DB. I was like, what is this? And I looked into it and it got weirder and weirder. And I'm trying to figure out to myself what it is. And it doesn't make sense. Too spooked to ever lobby up? Yo, Jen, you can totally do it. We're not doing anything in particular. Hey, Izzy, let's go. Essa. That's cool. Actually, Essa's ability, like, or not Essa specifically, but Sabotage kind of helps our, like, you know, Sabotage is really unfortunate in non-civic, where we're just trying to get like cards and archives.
Yeah, the Sabotage versus Jinteki games are interesting.
Yeah. So I'm reckoning Izzy, she's playing something aggressive. Sabotage, run-based stuff, kind of like the, I don't know if you remember the deck list of the week. It was in standard. But that sort of engine that like Sokka put together. We have an Anvil in opening hand, which can be kind of rude. We have both of our grids, which is not very good. We have money though, which is the best we could ask for. Cool thing about Essa is that turn one, they're putting off pressure on both central servers, right? Like Sabotage inherently is pressure. I don't know if you see turn one finality, but like turn one Chestushka is an issue. I think we need to get a bit more ice. I tilt and misplay super easy. Well, then we'll both tilt and misplay super easy. Question also for Anarchs is how they break Stavka, because I don't know if anyone's playing Noom, but they're one of the factions that like struggles the worst with Stavka because they don't have endurance, they don't have inside job. It's just like, can you intelligently land what's it called on here? Botulus.
Botulus?
But even then, there's like no more gachapon, there's no more simul-chip, so it's a fair bit harder. Fortunately, we draw on our half run. I think we want to get rid of our half run. Spin Doctor, though, is something you have to use a bit sparingly in this matchup because of the sabotage. So how do we start this turn? I actually don't know.
I mean, I think our ice is just going to be ice that looks like ice for now, and maybe we put the
Yeah, that's
put the
fair.
Regolith behind it or
So
something.
maybe
or-
we can start with this and actually get an end to run because we have 17 ice. The chance of us drawing into ice is like not terrible.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're gonna more likely ice res HQ, and then we'll put this in R&D. So this is good if like something's dropped like a conduit, I guess, or an Enga, maybe we'd consider.
Hmm.
For some reason, I wildly underestimated Anvil when I first saw the card. Yo, Piotr, I'm coming to the same conclusion. It is like unsustainable to run through. Like if you put an Anvil in a central server, runners just can't go through it enough. While you're still like trading down, usually it's like totally doable. All right, well, we have to protect this with ice. Otherwise, yeah, that's good enough. So assuming Cleaver, it's usually what it is. Could be Crowder, but I think first we want to do economy, then we want to do agenda. So we'll just do either credit Maskarovka or we can do double. Double is better against specifically Botulus, but not much else.
I think I like double here.
Okay.
Just in case.
We'll do the face check on the outside. I imagine that there's actually like some 2-turn, 3-turn strategy that really cares about ice placement. Like, I think we want to get our 3-cost res sooner. So this on the outermost is also probably right because it means we can stop a half run. We just have to over install this half run and shuffle it back in with Spin Doctor. Again, play multiple half run. Silly Andre, every faction has endurance. Essa is probably one of the deck that's less likely to play endurance on the basis that Essa is kind of more contingent on Marrow. More than any other runner is contingent on a console. Shit. Oaktown off the top.
In order for Asa to have endurance, he needs to have marrow.
Yeah.
That's a little wordplay. That's the kind of wordplay you get after 11 p.m. on the Metropole Grid.
All right. Oaktown off the top. We haven't seen anything from the deck. Going back in. All right. So unfortunately here, like we have to pop the spin. The other option is like, I think maybe play hedge fund, install Oaktown, hit Oaktown. That's probably fine, right?
Yeah.
That's probably fine.
Yeah. Hedge fund, spin, Oaktown. Yeah, that makes sense.
The other option's like just not.
Sorry, I had to talk that out.
No, it's all good. The other option's like just trashing the Spin Doctor and going for another advancement here so we can score and then push next turn. Keeping this in the bin, like we don't have much recursion besides the other Spin Doctors, but now with this, I think Izzy, she's probably going to take some core damage because you don't want to sabotage with a spin on the table. Anvil's been feeling worse for me in standard because of bin breakers and decks like that with World Tree. Oh yeah, it's totally different in startup. I would not be excited to play it in any other format. Now we're gonna see if Izzy's gonna call here the double barrier. At least we got our money back. Metropole Grid is a pun-based stream with Netrunner being played in the background.
Metropole Grid is a book club stream based on puns where occasionally Andre will pull me back into a game of Netrunner.
Yeah, I got to the end of book club in what's it called?
Oh, Midnight Suns.
Yeah, and it upset me. They're like, we're done. There's bigger things happening, but that actually makes the mood a bit more dire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was like the most depressing. I was like, oh, now things are getting serious actually because we're not doing book club anymore.
We lost Envelopment and Regolith again. Sometimes this will make us more powerful. There's the Ghost Tongue, the first sabotage trigger, and just straight chest Dushka. We're gonna have to res the half run, unfortunately. No.
Yeah, that's fine.
Remembering the half run just trashes a card too is like just good for our Nanocivic combo. I reckon we should play more half runs and just not play Pathonimus.
Yeah, probably.
All right, once just go down.
I don't know if we've. You might have talked about Midnight Suns on the channel. I said that like it's basically one of my favorite games of last year.
No,
despite understanding that it's not like a great game.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't think it's a great game.
It's a very flawed game that I really, really love.
Yes, I am enjoying a heck out of it, but I know there's so many parts of it that like should be better than they are.
Yep. It actually reminds me of, if I can compare it to a book and bring this back to the channel's original purpose.
Yeah.
Project Hail Mary is a book that I don't think is like very well written. I think it like makes mistakes in its structuring, but it's a super fun book, and I actually really adored it. We're talking about Marvel's Midnight Suns, the Marvel Tactics game by the XCOM team.
Firaxis, right?
Firaxis, yeah.
Yeah.
And it has a book club subplot that is written so authentically.
It's good.
It gives me shivers.
The last character
God,
detention
it's
book
so
club is so funny because you
Yep.
cannot get a good read on what's happening, and it is genuinely really, really good.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been fun. I watched NL Northern Line, right? Play it instead.
Mm.
I didn't watch his play of it. I watched him playing some of the Hitman game. Hitman's also like, so they had this Hitman roguelite mode that came out, I think, last week, and I was talking about it on stream last week, and I was like pretty positive
Right,
about it.
yeah. Someday I'll get into Hitman.
I don't know. I feel like that's another mode
Oh.
that is like almost so good, but then fundamentally there's like just some systems in it that don't make a lot of sense and don't succeed the way. Oh no, Begum.
Oh no. Oh, that's so far. Oh boy, that's
oh, here we
go.
go. Too bad. Okay, we lost a Bavaria, so we lost an Anvil. That's too bad. That's too bad. That's too bad. I was having crazy performance issue with the game at launch. Yeah, they fixed it. I didn't get it until a month later. A lot of those stutters, the micro stutters, have been fixed out. Katurga.
One thing when I was trying to probably for a Chestuchka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Purge. Please.
One thing what was I trying to figure out?
Is he not now?
Right,
please. Is he not now?
No, is he no?
Cost 1.
I mean, we can totally lose the Bathynomus. That kind of fits some of our game plan.
But isn't that the coolest dice we could ever get on archives?
That's a good point. We do want that in archives.
No, but you're right. We do get rid of it. No further access. Perfect. Just one agenda. A lot of work, one agenda. All right. So 2 cards in hand, 3 credits. Again, not aware that this is Ice Wall to Maskarovka, but has to respect Stavka, which, you know, big blowout for sure. So I think we draw once. Oh, please, not this. I think we draw again. And
Izzy doesn't know that's 2 barriers.
we're just going to put that in there.
Okay.
Try to RoboQuest based on your recommendation. Movement's so fun. It's really good. And like some of your weapons are hit scan, but none of the enemies' weapons are hit scan, and the movement is really fun. The guns are great. Good game field. Really good shooter. Glad you enjoyed it.
That one. I've been meaning to try that one.
Oh, spin doctor off the pinhole rip. That's sick. Love it. Rez. She has 2 credits, so at least we have another spin, but we're going to use this. We can save the Atlas. I think the other thing that we possibly want to save is, I honestly don't know. Extract would be good enough money. We definitely don't want anything that with the word barrier on it. I think Anvil is probably just taxing enough. As much as the mills are deck, which kind of compounds poorly with S's pressure. Let's get the Pathinimus back. That's kind of the fun one. As much as it getting face down in there, but I don't think it's going to stay face down in there. I think they're going to check sooner than later. The cool thing about Pinhole is not optional. So once you played it, you can't choose to access like a lot of the run events in old FFG days. All right, this is a good run considering we just drew up like 4 or 5 cards and didn't jam anything in the remote server. Aziev, good hit. If we lost the Spin Doctor there, so bad. But we're probably going to lose very soon. Creative Commission, 2 influence, nice. Anarch does have economy at shoes. Wish this ice was good. All right, well now it's free to run HQ. So doing that play would make no sense if HQ was flooded with agendas. You see what you see?
The ultimate, mind games. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're like 1 step ahead.
I take preemptive virus. I don't know how many viruses we're gonna see. We're assuming fermenter, which like it's hard to do fermenter. You're right though, because virus is such a good card in the deck, and it gives us access to what's it called? It gives us access to our instant Nanocivic. I think you're right. That the virus is probably correct. It's very flexible. Hedge fund. Okay, that's the only non-trashable. That's good. Please stop. Okay. That's real money. There you go. Fermenter's second creative commission, 2 cards in hand. Okay. Oh, it's all barriers. We have to fix this.
Izzy doesn't know that. Just put down the Aziev.
Think so. I think she might respect it. But
like, put down the Aziev, that you can use that to trash one of your bad barriers.
They're all bad barriers, man. I think if anything, we have to get the half run in the bin and then bring it back. Well, not really right now because she's not threatening to break a Stavka. Oops at barriers. But we have to like get this trashed if we want to do the Stavka combo. But like I don't know how Essa deals with Stavka. I think we can draw once here. I don't think we have to commit to Spin Doctor. Okay, we brought that back for a reason. That's actually lethal if she face checks into it.
Face check.
And she knows that we have Regolith. Wow, we have way more
Yeah.
money than makes sense at this point in the game. Like, I don't remember
Mhm.
doing economy at any point. Okay, that's a steel skin. Good.
Mhm.
Bono's the other card. Maybe Palangi. I'd be a bit surprised with Palangi. Maybe not
It's not
entirely.
Palangi because Palangi is rotated.
Oh, that's probably the biggest reason. But you're right. Palangi with
Yeah.
Begamot's fine. Okay, Sabotage. We can get rid of these two.
Hmm.
Hand size now good. 5 hand. Good hand 5.
I know this isn't the right time for it, but have I told you to play Hi-Fi Rush?
Yeah, no, but like it was probably a given to play High Five Rush, right? Like everyone
Okay,
loves
yeah,
High
yeah.
Five Rush.
Yeah, it's great. I downloaded it and beat it within like 48 hours.
Yeah. No, I don't have whatever that Xbox
Game
subscription
Pass.
plan is. Do we get an ice wall out of our deck, which is broken for bad pub?
Well, by which you mean it taxes the bad pub. It's basically an RRS.
IRS, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
RRS.
don't know if that's worth it. I think having one an agenda in there is non-agenda in there is fine. Yeah, whatever. Okay. We'll do it. Fires our ability. Not convinced it's great. Oh, we got a num. That's sick. That's so sick.
Oh.
What?
I mean,
Oh, Mara.
another thing about having the ice wall out is that it can be trashed later to get Spin Doctor. So that's another reason just to have a one cost out there that even if it doesn't do anything.
This is our last Spin Doctor in hand.
That's our Spin Doctor in hand. Never mind.
Yeah. No, but you're, dude,
Yeah.
silver linings, man. I appreciate it at this point in my life.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Hey. Don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
At least it's still
Just too
sackable to
bad
close zero cost. Yeah, house. We have no more though. This is our last zero coster in hand. Numplus Poison Vial is so good. Yeah, I haven't seen enough of it. I reckon it's the way that Anarchs can deal with big stuff. I don't know if you were going to play Poison Vial on this list. I feel like there's other issues, but yeah, maybe.
Who up numbing they sentries? I wish I would think through the things that I'm about to say out loud.
Draw. All right, like Hostile doesn't win it, but anything we put in the remote server might get some aggression here. And I do think Izzy is definitely respecting Stavka. And we have a 3-coster again. If we just get this thing back in the deck with the Spin Doctor on the table, the running can be a disaster. And that's actually, no, that's the biggest thing. Getting the ice wall out is huge if we're expecting us to Stavka something. Oh, please, no, that's our Stavka. No, we don't care. We have half run. We don't care. New remote. Res.
Oh, okay.
Server 1. Server 1. Oops. Server 1.
Yeah, that's a fun
fork.
res.
It's a fork.
Hmm?
If there's an R&D run, we half run Stavka. If there's a server 1 run, we eat a little cat. And by a little cat, I mean a really big cat. Brain mouth filter way overrated.
Yeah. El Gato. Hey, congratulations on your 365-day streak.
Oh, thanks, man. You noticed.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Oh, Poking Hedge Fund. I like this. Or sorry, Archives. I saw Hedge Fund. Just to see if we're gonna res here. It might be a time bomb play. Oh, they purged first. That's actually really good. But again, I don't think it matters because we have the half run. I think there was a bet there that would purge the Spin Doctor. But that was a tempo Spin Doctor. It was actually a half run Spin Doctor. All right, that tracks. So we'll bring it back in the half run for a combo ability, and then we're going to bring back in the virus because we said we should have before. Merely having that Archives is nice. Izzy has 1 click, so I think we win.
Yeah.
Yeah, time bomb. That makes sense.
There we go.
So we have it. Good game. There's some good pressure there. Good game.
Yeah, I there were some interesting forks there for sure.
Yeah, we got
pretty cool.
Fortunate with just enough agendas. And we got lucky with the Spin Doctors. There was a turn that Izzy, they were smashing HQ, and I think there was a chance that actually worked out. Like we did have more agendas in there than I think she might have guessed, and obviously that she found. But 3 Spin Doctors are so huge. It's the most important card a lot of times where the multi-axis in this deck is almost entirely sabotage, right? Make sure half runs that are indeed. Yeah, that's exactly it.
I've been trying to sort out what I want my startup corp to be, and this is really compelling to me. I mean, partly because, you know, I'll keep playing op.
Yeah.
You can't stop me from playing op. So yeah, this is feeling pretty good.
No, but for real, like we went for the silly flatline stuff. It's probably not good. Like you should probably do it in Jinteki and just spend all your influence on the rest of the parts and then don't play ZATO. But like for real, I hope it was so obvious. And it's actually not very obvious because they're on the other side of the table. Maybe when we played our Matryoshka game on turn 1, like you just can't hit Stavka. You hit Stavka, they have a 3-cost to res, you lose the game. As long as losing your breakers is losing the game. I was a bit worried to pass the turn with the breaker in hand, and I didn't see the line that got numbed down and got into Aziev turn without Stavka. I was worried. Oh yeah, for sure. The problem though is the sure, that was a really good hit. We have half run Stavka though, so you need like Num and from Botulus. It's a nightmare, right? Like Num deals with it, 8 strength, better than 7. But again, if we just end up blanking this thing, the whole ship comes down. I don't know, man. Play endurance seems to be the solution. There's nothing else really that deals with it consistently besides like forged activation if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Do you have that? I thought the Havern was an archives after it went installed into last spin deck. Yeah, I just spun it back. Just for that. You did Botulus, the Stavka though. It was great. It was a great target.
I've started slotting an extra revolver. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's another way. Is like have 2 things that can break it. So you have a revolver and something else. But again, that's why endurance is usually the easy pass. Is you need endurance and you need a breaker. Yeah. But otherwise it's hard, and it's not something that you can interact with Hush at all. This turn you did, the turn before you exactly, yeah. Turn before was safe until I got the doctor out. Revolver's really good too. I think Revolver Vial is a bit better than Numb Vial, but influence and all that. Hey, Cactus, thanks for the raid. How's it going? Evening, good evening. All right, Pat.
Howdy, Cactus.
It's 11:30. You want to just do our DB mystery?
Yeah. Let's get into this. Let's see if we can pull other people into this mystery so we can escape it.
Anarch seems difficult. Yeah, Anarch seems the hardest to build so far. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Well. Ricocheting is big in startup. Yeah. I don't know. Play non-ESA and play other hand size stuff and play endurance and druids. Like maybe you play the Shaper Cybernetic that gives you hand size and then you just play endurance. I don't know. So you don't have to play Marrow. Forge activation might be making a mess of the combo though if you hit the half run. It's just like so inconsistent that you're probably better off just playing 2 revolvers, right? Like obviously Forge is okay against other stuff, but like you might be better off playing 2 revolvers and then just saying, oh, I got 2 guns. What are you gonna do? Yeah. Marrow seems necessary, but not great. So maybe there's another way. Yeah. Just hit them with it. Thanks for the game, eh? I'm glad to see more Anarch though in startup because it's the one like question mark that not a lot of people are exploring. But Matryoshka, again, like rig shooting is a problem, but it's the sort of thing you can slot into a lot of stuff as long as you have a good card draw. Banhar maybe? Yeah, Banhar is like totally doable. Yeah, actually, Banhar is like totally fine. The thing is like Banhar doesn't beat that specific interaction because it's the first ICU encounter. So it's very specific based off of ordering. Yeah. Boris the Blade, you mean Boris the Bullet Dodger? Oh yeah, the same guy. I think he's the same man. Okay, I need to preface this with, this could look like a witch hunt. I will be very clear it's not a witch hunt. I just find this to be so mysterious that I can't piece this together, and it feels like there's something else at play. So with that being said, not a witch hunt. Please be respectful. But there was a deck list that was posted by Jonas, the Big Unit 3000, that posted this deck list. That very good deck list. It's a cool deck list to see what like competitive PD look. Jonas, by the way, if you don't know, is a very good competitive Netrunner player. What they're doing with PD, because we haven't seen competitive startup events in a minute. And seeing this list is kind of cool because rotation has hit PD pretty hard, which is classically post rotation a very, very good startup deck. So you actually see stuff like harmonics. You actually see a Vladisperse grid. Like it's a cool list, right? Really, really cool list.
I love this setup, by the way. Perfect setup.
Right. Okay. So Jonas writes, not as powerful as yellow decks in current startup, but much more fun. Cool. Very simple. Not a write-up that like tells you about the deck, but it's cool that he put out and posted a deck. It's in the public sphere. Love it. Great. And then there's a response from someone that says, this is not intended as an insult. Everyone has their own standards for what constitutes as a good time to be. And then it says, frazzle, in quotes, more specific. I want to know what you think is entertaining about this deck. Now, that seems like a bit of a jab. It's like, you know, It's probably not a nice thing to say. Again, not a witch hunt. They can say it all they want. But then looking into this was really confusing. I'm always regretting starting this potential witch hunt because I looked at this name itself, and this is where things get really weird to me. Is so this name is it's something that was made to make this comment on the day. Like the comment was posted on February 9th. Somebody made this, maybe ghost account, I don't know, to say this like, you know, slightly unnice comment. And okay, I guess you can do that. But then there's like this description text, and this description text is really strange, and I don't know what this is or how it got there. I have searched the internet for this description text, and it's talking about a luxury hotel in Athens. And not like a nice hotel, like a luxury hotel, like unapproachably lavish hotel. At least that's what the pictures make it look like in Athens. And it's talking about someone named Stergu. I searched the internet for this exact quote as if it wasn't like accidentally ripped somewhere, and this doesn't exist anywhere. As far as I couldn't find this text, which means that this was unique bespoke text that only exists here in a description of Netrunner DB, someone's new account made to make a weird comment. Now these actions here, these are actually just like quote marks. If you copy paste this into like Google, it actually fixes this. So this is just like a formatting error of sort. This is not anything else. But I'm wondering what this is. I looked into this a bit. Strigao, we found somebody who like has houses that they're letting for like tourists on a beach somewhere in Greece. It's not near Athens, but I don't understand if that person's associated with that. But then it gets even stranger because if you go back to this deck, it looks like to be Frazzle, which obviously isn't a name here. This is a Netrunner DB messing up and is trying to add a deck list or add a person with the name Frazzle. And if you see the search bar here, it's trying to look for a deck list that's called frazzle.co. If you go to frazzle.co, which I'm not going to do because then they win, it is like kind of, what's it called? A Wordle type clone from some website.
Yeah. It's Phrasal. It's like
Phrasal.
Wordle, but Phrasal.
Yes, it's like Wordle, but like 2 words. So whatever. It's a website. It has ads on it. So I reckon there's someone interest for you to go there to make money. I'm not affiliated with this. I didn't write this. Obviously, that's clear. But
I was getting loads of like clearly.ca ads.
Yeah. If you go to phrasal.notcom.co. So what happened here? Did someone genuinely make this account to accidentally plug Phrasal and then somehow got like some sort of Greek tourism copy paste that exists again nowhere else on the internet here? Or is this literally a robot, a piece of AI that's going somewhere to get some sort of engagement about fun to plug a link? Like, again, this is not because I don't like the comment.
Okay.
It's so weird.
Yeah. So my idea was this is some kind of bot that trawls for words like fun.
Yeah.
And that it has like a preset thing, and the text in the profile is like being pulled from the metadata, like non-indexed text.
Yeah.
From a description of this hotel for whatever reason.
No.
Like maybe like my original thought was, and this is crazy because I know nothing about web development, they initially wrote something in the text editor of like a hotel, like if the hotel had like a leave your comments here field, they typed something in, copy pasted that, it brought with it this text about the hotels from Stergio, whatever. I don't know. And the text itself is so strange. It's like modern sites such as the Acropolis Museum, the Temple of the Mutant Zeus.
It's keyword
a ball
spam.
that's slowly deflating over time. A ROM game.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, so people are saying that this looks like AI. Like the comment, it looks real. Another weird thing to point out is that this is relatively like structured in a way that is not the way a lot of people write. Like this is not intended as an insult, semicolon. A lot of people don't write like that. I think that is actually correct, but that's not a lot of weight that people would write. And obviously this part's broken. It doesn't make sense. But is this Macaroni saying ChatGPT bots are getting it? There's nothing this man will not do for Netrunner content. Hold on. We're now at the era of ChatGPT comments on everything manipulated into clicking on shit. Like, is that what this is? Or is this like a real comment that somehow somebody like dumped something they were writing about Greek hotels onto their profile? And they made their profile to make this.
HAR finds the geopolitical angle to this. If you type, as Stergio puts it, it brings up a master's thesis about energy security.
What? Yeah, this is so weird. Again, there's no way it's so hard to believe that this is a human, which means there are, you know, robots among us on Netrunner DB posting stuff. Also, by the way, you can put stuff about your comments. I didn't know that. That was also like a nice surprise. But like none of this makes sense. Again, we looked up Stergio. They have like houses. They're not luxury stuff, but like places on the beach, and they have like a internet presence. I don't know. Reddit has quite a history with fairly sophisticated bots that poses people so they can gain permissions reserved for people with karma common thresholds. Wonder if this is it. Yeah, it's just like such a weird platform. Like they don't have an always be running profile. I think obviously no deck list, no reviews, but this is so strange. The bot comment is a rephrase of the previous comments last
Ooh.
line. Wait, actually?
That
Oh, you're very right. This
you're
is not meant
absolutely
as an
right.
attack. We all have different ideas of what fun is. I'm actually interested in what you see in all the fun stuff like deck like this. Wait, is this is not a real account either? No, July 14th. It could be. It probably is.
Wait, the
Maybe
bit
it's
unit
not.
isn't a real person. Oh my god.
Is this a real account too?
I mean, 7 months old. It's got to be.
Yeah, it probably is. And like, okay, I get their argument, but also whatever. I don't know. This is strange. I was looking at this. I was like, there's no way I don't want to bring this up again. It's not a witch hunt about like people bring comments I do or don't agree with. Winning games is fun from Moist Love was a really funny comment. But yeah, I don't know, man. This is weird. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's real. Maybe that's real. What the heck's going on, dude? What's going on?
On that note, I'm about to go to bed and I'm going to have terrifying nightmares. I'll be up all night. Yeah.
I've heard them again, citation needed, but like the question is how much traffic on the internet is real traffic versus how much traffic is like, you know, other robots doing stuff, you know, upping views, inflating the value of, you know, video journalism or deflating it. I guess that was the problem. But
yeah, I mean, I have been on the inside of online publishing, as have you to a certain extent. I've seen the way, like, how much of our traffic just has to be denied because it's just bots. We have to pretend it doesn't exist. Essentially.
Yeah.
It really is wild.
Yeah. And again, that means like, you know, there's enough people watching this live on the VOD. Some amount of you has to be bots. And if you are, please just raise your hand. Because if you need help with CAPTCHA, I feel like we can maybe make this profitable.
Yeah. Or raise your Waldos.
Yeah.
Or other tech terms that I know.
Appraisal, a new NVN card. Please don't go to that website. I don't want this to be good. Funny enough, though, they can't tell that the click-through worked because the click-through is like really broken. It is. Yeah. NetRunnerDB, HTTP, Phrasal.co. I don't know. So weird. Lucas, I know you're a bot. Beep, boop, beep, boop. All right. I just wanted to end it with that. That should be it for the stream. We'll be back again in a week. We talked about this at the top. There'll be links in the description below, but we'll be doing a stream. If you want to watch some Netrunner Cube draft, some 1v1 grid draft, that should be up on Bahram Wu and, of course, Bounty Hunter Sax's Twitch/YouTube streaming channel. That'll be 3 p.m. Eastern this Saturday or 8 UTC. I think that's how it works out too. Otherwise, next week, we'll be doing some 1v1 Cube draft streaming with Ahmed. I reckon Ahmed might be streaming his side of the stuff, but cool thing about Cube draft is there's no hidden information, so you can see everything everyone is doing at the same time, which is kind of the magic from it. Not a bot. Beep, beep.
I just want to say I've been really enjoying Summoner Wars Online lately, and I'm really, 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 really bad at it. So if anyone wants to just hit me up and send me an invite to a game, you can find me on Discord. I'm bad and I want to get better, so let's see if that can happen.
I saw the new like crafting sand goblins. They look fun.
Yeah, they're super fun.
Yeah,
I like them a lot.
Word letter word is a common autogenerator name for bots. Word letter word. Oh, you might be right. Yeah, because I looked at this name too, and the only thing that came up was like a German phrase where Taga and Hoodlum actually are the sentence. So maybe you're right about that too. Frisbee's asking what faction you play.
Oh, Fallen Kingdom, which I know are bad, and then Cloaks and Sand Goblins and Fungal Dwarves, which are my aesthetic.
Yeah, Goblin mode or whatever.
If you leave a dwarf, if you put a dwarf in the wash and you forget to put it on the clothesline and you leave for like 4 years, what you get is a fungal dwarf.
Yeah, and they still have to brew for a bit, from my understanding. Cool. That's it, Pat. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks everyone else for hanging out. Sorry about the games, and we'll be back in a bit. Take care, y'all. Oh, we'll have video content on this channel this weekend and next week as well. So that's kind of cool, huh? Ciao.
All right. I can't wait. Bye, everybody.
Bye.